Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. I'm Shruti Deshmukh
And I'm Pavan Lalwani.
and we will be your host for today's event.
Since we all are joining across the world, we understand for a few of you it might be an early morning, and for a few of you it might be late in the evening.
But looking at the number of participants joining the event, that has not come in the way, Pavan.
Are you sure, Shruti? Let's check. For that, all you have to do is, if you are awake and excited, just write a yes in the chat box or put a heart emoji or a thumbs up emoji so that we know you are wide awake.
Let's give them few seconds to respond. Wow, look at the number of emojis and yeses we have received. So Pavan, I was correct.
As always, Shruti. And I hope this enthusiasm stays till the end.
I guess that's why we are here for, to keep everyone's excitement level high and to make sure they participate throughout the event.
Alright then, without further ado, let's begin this wonderful event of WeRise FY24.
So Pavan, we have a huge agenda to cover today. How do we begin?
Well, Shruti, when Pavan is here, there is no fear. Do you remember what were the building blocks for the last financial year?
Of course, Pavan, how can one forget that? We were chasing the same thing throughout the year. I have it all by heart.
Wonderful.
So first is 15% increase in prescription, new launch performance, focused product exponential growth, prescriber base expansion, and new patient generation.
Wonderful. So let's have a look at this year's theme video where we will be seeing what exactly is in the store for us. So are you all excited?
Absolutely, Pavan. I am very excited. Can we have the video, please?
Shruti, are you excited looking at this year's theme video?
Well, Pawan, I'm all geared up to rise above and beyond for the next financial year. So let's ask our team how do they feel about it. So team, are you all excited? Please put your responses in the chat box.
Wow, that's great. I can see everyone is super excited and supercharged for rising above and beyond.
Now that we have understood the theme for FY24, let's hear what our leaders have to say. So team, stay tuned throughout the event to understand the deep meaning of above and beyond.
Absolutely. As our first speaker, we have Mr. Nishant Saxena, who is the CEO of our international business. Nishant will give us an overview of our international business, what we have done, and expectations for the next financial year. Let us all welcome Mr. Nishant Saxena.
What a pleasure to hear about another edition of WeRise. The DTMs have been leading the international markets, the entire emerging markets in Europe. The DTMs have been leading with growth, more than 20% growth. Our target was 15% in our secondaries, whether it's in Europe or emerging market. The DTM side is growing more than 20% and month on month, quarter on quarter. So amazing work. When I hear about all the marketing activities being done, when I hear about all the digital work being done, when I hear about all the SFE work being done, it fills my heart with pride, and not to mention all the new portfolio that we are launching, especially in the European side. So good, all the best. Continue these double-digit growth.
Thank you, Nishant, for inspiring all of us to go above and beyond and laying out the expectations for next financial year.
Absolutely. Moving on, we have our next speaker, Mr. Anand Agarwal, who is the Vice President for Emerging Markets International Business.
And he will help us to understand how we have performed in FY23 and how we can do even better in FY24. Please give it a big hand for Mr. Anand Agarwal.
Thank you, Pawan and Shruti. Thank you very much. Every team member of EMDTM. I will take you through with how EMDTM delivered in financial year 2023. I'll also set during my presentations about how do we see the next year coming, what lies for each one of you. Let me take you through the slides. Before I begin the slides, I would like to congratulate every one of you. Yes, we have delivered 91 million in secondary with 37% growth. It's incredible numbers with any company will envy for. Our growth is not just with revenues, but you made it possible with better profits than we budgeted. Yes, we delivered 70 BPS higher number on profit. Fantastic thing. A profitable growth, and that's what every company aspires for. Thank you. Its performance is not just internal, but we made it possible. We've beaten the markets. Yes, we have an evolution index more than 100, which reflect that your performance is better than the competition around you. Great. Once again, thank you very much for making it happen. If you look at the bottom of the slides, which talks about the process which helped you to achieve this success. Because a success or a business or a number is an outcome of what we follow in our life. The process that we followed, this number is a self-explanatory on these slides. More than 90% doctor being covered during the year. Phenomenal. Because if you don't cover your customers, you don't get outcomes. Your DMR, your digital initiative that you do with the doctors, more than 85%. Fantastic thing. Our lots of digital initiative that we have taken in EMDTMs, all of them has augmented this growth, and you adhere using it meticulously. From Cipla Netflix to Cipla GBKS, DMR or VMR. Fantastic thing. Thank you. Next slides. This slide is a dissection of the growth that we delivered. Yes, if you look at this slide talks about that our growth is not just one therapy, but every therapy has helped us to grow. Respiratory, CNS, cardio, uro, I think we have delivered number on every therapy area, and that reflects an all-around performance. As we always says, team is together, everyone achieve more. This slide reflects the same. So on a therapy side, we have delivered numbers. On a country-wise, every country have made their contribution in a growth of 37% coming in. Big countries become bigger, and the smaller countries, in terms of revenue, I'm not talking about smaller in size, the smaller countries in terms of revenues has augmented the growth. That's how a great team works. Thank you. Next slides. So this slide talks about my reflections on year FY23. The left side talks about what went well, and that's what I spoke in last two slides. The second is sales, the profitability, the process that we followed, those augmented the growth of DTMs. But in every business, what are the pieces that could have been better? That talks about the right hand side. Yes, our B2B and tender business, in some of our big market, we missed the numbers. Morocco, Algeria, Brazil, I think these are the three markets where my B2B / tender business are little higher, and I missed the budgets. I as a leader take the responsibility that yes, we in DTMs missed the numbers on B2B and tenders. Our forex, that is out of our hand, has also impacted us with almost 5 to 6% of the total growth. That was a challenge that we had this year. We have also kept aspirations to grow inorganic, to finding up the new opportunities, new avenues of acquiring a brand, portfolio and an organization. I personally say we could have done better. No, that's where we have not delivered as we expect this thing to happen. Our supply overall went off well, except some part of or some countries where we are. But this is what my reflections on the year passed by. The bottom of the slides talks about what focus for FY24, and that's very important for all of us to see. The EMDTMs, our the first piece is incremental innovations. We have been looking at that, how could I better file right products for right market? What could be the differential product or the complex or unique product that we can file? The overall portfolio, our customer connects, how could it be better, more innovative, as well as the new launches in time. So this is what I would say that the focus number one on incremental innovations. We'll also see how can we meet what we missed last year in terms of inorganic growth. We are open to see the opportunities in every market in terms of acquisitions of brand, portfolio and an organization which fits into our strategies and portfolio. Operational excellence will always be the one of the key drivers in terms of managing right inventories, creating right demands and avoid minimum wastage. I think we should have a minimum wastage in business in terms of expiries or returns that we have. Last but not the least, as we are DTMs, we represent the biggest human resource in entire emerging market in Europe, in entire international market. For me, my personal targets is all about people and leaderships. How can I build up the capabilities of each one of you? For every member in the hierarchy, from the bottom to top, I would also like to work upon bringing a right succession or the leadership pipeline for all the critical positions in the organization. These are the pieces that I thought that this is my reflection of FY23. Next slides. This slides, I already spoken in the previous slide, my reflection and what going ahead, but this slide talks about the numbers. But I would like to say, rather than I go every numbers in every country, I would like to say FY24 is the year of above and beyond. That's what the theme of WeRise is. Above and beyond is what you've delivered in FY23. Go above and go beyond to this growth. I think this slide will talks about what lies ahead for you. In terms of number, your country manager will communicate the numbers to each one of you, what target we are setting up. But yes, we have been keeping a very strong secondary growth and primary growth for every country. We wanted to beat the market again with the wider margins. We want to make our growth more profitable than what we delivered this financial year. That's what the target each one of you should be following in every headquarter, in every area, in every country you work for. Go above, go beyond. Let's rise together and make EMDTM a fantastic story in FY24 again. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was amazing. Anand has laid out the expectations very clearly from each one of us for FY24. It couldn't have been much simpler than that.
With that note, let's begin with our core function and let's hear from each one of them what kind of directions do they have for all of us in FY24.
Absolutely, Shruti. So let me ask you this. Can you tell me an important person for you who gets the right data, or let's say how important data is for you? Getting at the right time, is it very important?
So well, Pawan, I am from the marketing team and data is everything for us. So without this data, we cannot make the strategies, we do not understand the sales performance, and without this data, I think at the end of the day, we will be just clueless and helpless.
Absolutely.
And there is this one person who helps us with us data and, just day in and day out, and I just don't know without this person what we all could have done.
I totally agree. Be it marketing, training, sales, he is a go-to person, and he is none other than our own, very own Mr. Prahlad. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Prahlad?
Thank you, Pawan and Shruti, for the overwhelming introductions. Hello team, good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of you. First of all, I would like to congratulate each one of you for your excellent effort in the current financial year. In this current financial year, we are surpassing the secondary numbers and adding incremental value to our business. As you are aware, for any business, there are two important factors which is important for growing the business. First is the internal and second is the external. Though we are performing extremely well in our internal secondary numbers, but just look at the external numbers. Whether our internal numbers are supporting to performing the market beating performance in external market, does it help us in positioning our external market? Does it help us in increasing our market shares? So the answer is yes. Once again, congratulations to all of you. As you are looking at the numbers, we are growing faster than the market. Our growth is 26% versus market stand at 23%. If you see the country-wise numbers, except for Nepal, all other countries are doing well and gaining market shares. Nepal also started performing after Q2 onwards. And I wish the story of numbers will change in coming months. So in our DTM market, there are two main focus therapies. First is a respiratory, second is a cardio. The respiratory therapy is growing by 27% and cardio is growing by 38%. If you look at the slides, so you will get to know that the country, except Nepal, all other countries are performing well and gaining market share in respi as well as in cardio. If you remember in our first slides, we are going by 26% versus market at around 23%. So we are increasing only 3% market share or 3% growth in our external numbers. So if we compare our internal secondary growth and the external growth, there are huge difference in the growth. So for improving the growth, I want to convey the message here. For improving market share, gaining higher position, we need to benchmarking the leading competitors. We need to look at our geographical and specialty coverage and need to see our sizing and restructuring of field team. And with that, I am signing off from this presentation. Thank you and all the best.
That was an insightful session. Thanks, Prahlad, for explaining IQVIA in such a simpler way. On that note, any guesses who will be our next speakers for the event? Well, I'm sure you must have understood by now somebody is missing besides me. Yes. Well, you all got it correct. Our next session is from the respiratory team by Viraj and Shruti, and they are going to talk about all the achievements that we have had in FY23 and what exactly it's coming in FY24 and how are we going to rise above and beyond in FY24. Can we all hear a big round of applause for Viraj and Shruti?
Thank you, Pawan. Hello, everyone. I am very happy and excited to be here and more than happy to present this slide. As you can see in the slide, this is the best ever DTM performance. You can see for FY23, we are going to reach $46 million performance. Along with that, strong 32% value growth. More than that, $10 million brands will be achieving more than 100% achievement. So that's a commendable job. And for this amazing performance, I want each one of you to put up heart or a clap in the chat box right now. And that should keep on flowing till this particular slide gets over. I can't see it right now. Yeah, there it goes. I can see it now. Good going. This is just not the end. As you can see, the country-wise performance, we have done 111% achievement, along with that 32% growth. When we look at the country-wise performance, Sri Lanka with a different country dynamics achieving more than 100% achievement. Likewise, Morocco, Algeria, Myanmar, Colombia also delivering more than their budget. Nepal with a revival performance, they have achieved or they'll be achieving more than 95% achievement also. Same is with Oman and Malaysia. That's not all. When we look at respiratory focus band performance, which contributes close to 80% of our respiratory business, is also doing 106% achievement with 24% growth. So that's really amazing job. So just to summarize what we have done in FY23, the performance in challenging conditions. As I've already mentioned, Sri Lanka and Nepal, they have done a wonderful job. When it comes to the marquee campaigns, Spacer program along with WAD and WCD, which is World Asthma Day and World COPD Day, making a great space for respiratory business for Cipla in different markets. Moreover, digital pioneers in the EM industries, what we have done is great. GBKs in Nepal, which we have definitely doing a remarkable job. Soon, Morocco as well as Sri Lanka will be a part of this group. Along with that, successfully launch of our pilot project, BF Digital Educator, which is going to be on different heights in Nepal as well. Last, but one of the best, that is Algeria, entered into top 5 respiratory inhalation companies. That is a definitely commendable job. So let all the claps keep flowing into the chart without fail. Please go on. Great work. So moving into the next slide, just wanted to give you the glimpses of major initiatives what we have done in H2 FY23. Though we have done selected activities, but those are distinction one. The first is, be it a Crossroads, be it a Respiratory Summit, be it a Global Respiratory Connect, HSS, or even ATS. The marquee campaigns like Spacer program or Take Charge, for that matter, GBKs from Nepal as well, has done a remarkable job, and that is creating definitely a dedicated space for respiratory Cipla in different markets. So all these efforts are getting reflected into the next slide. So let's give a good round of applause for our respiratory top performers who has delivered 100% or more than 100% achievement. So starting with Morocco and Sri Lanka, let's give a good round of applause. Yes, good going guys. Let all the claps flow from all the regions, all the countries across. Great. Moving on to the next slide. We are just not stopping it here, guys. Next is Algeria, then Malaysia. We have from Oman, Myanmar, and UAE. Let's give a good round of applause for them as well. Keep it flowing, guys. Fantastic, fantastic. So congratulations to all the respiratory top performance and keep up the good work. Next slide. Okay. So reflecting to FY23, have we fared well in FY23 reflections? Yes, we have fared pretty well. How can I say that? Because as you can see in the graph, in the slide itself, that overall what we have grown in prescription is close to 37%. When it comes to the new launches, we have done more than 100% achievement for our new launches. When it comes to the focus products, yes, it's a 31% value growth and 11% unit growth as well. More so, when it comes to the customer expansion and new patient generation, we have done definitely a great job. With 1500 doctors and more than 40,000 new patient has been generated. So, as our theme goes, above and beyond, initiatives are what we are going to take it ahead in FY24, even a bigger manner, which are spacer program, the awareness campaigns like GBKs, obviously the Morocco and Sri Lanka will further join into this group. Along with that, international knowledge platforms like GRC, HSS, Crossroads, and definitely improved HCP Connect, which is CMF and DMR. Nevertheless, we definitely missed some of the opportunities, but we will make sure and minimize it the next year as well. We aspire to cross 50 million mark in FY24 and become a lung leader, which is definitely what we are aligned with. As you can see in the graph, what we are at currently, it is a 21% market share, wherein in GSK, which is on 25% market share, which is degrowing by -3%. So very much in line what we are doing it. With 4% raise in market share, we will be definitely beating GSK and being the number one lung leader. When we look at country-wise Cipla respiratory performance, as you can see, we have already on the second rank. Looking at the different country, we are faring almost we are the top 5 in all the countries what we can see, be it Nepal, be it Sri Lanka, be it Morocco, be it Algeria. Okay, so let's commendable job guys, what we have done it. Keep up the good work for FY24 as well. Moving into the next slide, the focus brands, which is going to be the main crux of this this presentation, that is MS market share gain and aspiration. Looking at Seroflow, what we are aiming at is 13 million brand along with 17% growth. With this, we will able to achieve 57% market share. When it comes to the Foracort, we are aiming for 9.5 million brand along with 18% growth, which will help in achieving 38% market share. When it comes to the Tioga, we will be getting into the 3 million mark, okay, and that will help us to achieve 68% market share. So these are the crux of it, and we will be aiming to achieve this in going forward as well. Moving into the next slide, as our theme goes, going above and beyond. Okay, these are going to be our 4 building blocks for FY24. Very simple. Okay, first goes doctor conversion and coverage. What we expect is the 10% of HL and HM to convert into the HH. Second comes to the prescriber base expansion, new patient generation. And in that, what we are aiming at to engage more than 3,500 doctors. Along with that, we'll be aiming to generate close to 133,000 patients in that particular space of spacer program and breathe free, WAD and WCD programs. When it comes to the digital, because this is going to be the another lever. So digital educator, one of the new entrant in our digital portfolio. What we are going to have it is 5 patients per rep per month, what we will be aiming at. Along with that GBKs, where Nepal, Sri Lanka and Morocco will be part of it. From there, we will be aiming at to generate 50,000 new patients. In HSS and CMF, we will be aiming to 75% registration. Along with that, out of that, 30% has to be the attendance for that particular HSS and CMF meets. And last but not the least, new launch performance, we will be aiming to have 9 new launches, which will help to generate 1 million revenue for this FY24. So this is one of the major lever for FY24, which is breathe free. Okay, under breathe free banner, we will be aiming to generate close to 100,000 new patients, and with that, there are different parts. So first is GBKs, where we will be aiming to generate 50,000 new patients, which I have just now spoke about. Along with that, we will be aiming to generate 15 million reach as well. Digital breathe free educator. Okay, this is a first video-based inhaler device training program for Nepal, and in that, we will be expecting 5 patients per rep per month, per day. The second part is breathe free pharmacy. This is again a new entrant in breathe free umbrella, where in that we will be aiming to generate 10,000 new patients. More so, in breathe free camps, we'll be aiming to generate another 10,000 new patients. Okay, so this is the overall breathe-free umbrella what we'll be aiming at. So before I hand over session to the Shruti, let me invite Sajita Pia, NSM from Nepal, and I would like to put across a small question which will lead to a bigger impact. So Sajita, I would like to ask you this question. What innovative interventions are we taking in Nepal to expand the market?
Thank you, Biraz. Yes, we had a very challenging fiscal year 22-23. Q1 we could not perform well, and Q2 and Q3 we were reviving, and Q4 should be a quarter of growth for us. And in this fiscal year, in the current fiscal year, we are focused on strengthening our trade market, getting our basics right, and which is yielding the results, as you can see. And we have gained market share in Foracort and Metaspray, and we have doubled the number of units sold in Ruova. So we are in the right track. And we are also focusing in the profitable product mix in the institution business. So, and as you are also aware that we have launched a respiratory awareness campaign called Gas Kapasra SAS. We have three major objectives with this. One is the respiratory awareness, because Nepal has a very high prevalence of COPD and asthma. The COPD prevalence is about 11.3%, the highest amongst the NCDs. However, the awareness about the disease is very low. That's why we are focusing on the respiratory awareness. And second is on early diagnosis. And third is focusing this or diagnosed patient to the right set of doctors. So this is what we did in fiscal year 20, we are doing in fiscal year 22-23, and going forward to 23-24, we have umbrella strategy of breath-free, considering it as the central theme for new patient generation. And with this, going forward to 23-24, we will be continuing with our GBKS campaign and making this much more impactful than before. And second, we have digital breath-free initiative. This is a game-changing initiative wherein we train the patient digitally on the right uses of devices so that their disease is effectively controlled. We are running the trial now, and we are getting very good feedback for this digital breath-free initiative. The third is the breath-free camp, where we are focusing on screening, detection, and diagnosis of the COPD and asthma. And this year we are planning to conduct 150 camps throughout the year. And we are also focusing on the corporates like cement factories and brick factories, where the load of respiratory patient is very high. And the fourth, we are adding around 50 breath-free pharmacies in Nepal, which will be a one-point center for patient awareness in respiratory diseases, counseling in diseases, and training the patient on the right use of devices, and referrals to the chest physician. So these are the four major new patient generation initiatives which we will be focusing on fiscal year 23-24. And with this, we are quite sure that we will be coming out with flying colors in fiscal year 23 and 24. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you, Sajida, for giving the perspective, and I am sure this is going to be a path breaking for Nepal as well. So before moving into the next segment, I would request Shruti to take us to the next building blocks and the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Viraj. Now I am going to continue the new patient generation segment, and in this slide you can see that Spacer program and COPD clinic are the activities that we will be conducting for generating new patients. Now just before this slide, Viraj has already spoken about a breathe-free umbrella, which is helping us to generate 100,000 new patients. And with this slide, you can see that Spacer program and COPD clinics are also adding to 33,000 new patients. So altogether, with breathe-free, Spacer program and COPD, we will be able to generate 133,000 new patients. So we can see the number of new patients that will be generated through these two activities country-wise in the table on the screen. Moving on, we have our Measure Up campaign and Take Charge campaign. So Measure Up will take place in Q1 and Take Charge in Q3. So through this campaign, we will also be able to reach out to 10 million people, and through this reach, we will also be able to generate new patients. Moving on to the next lever of growth, that is prescriber base expansion. You can see the various activities that are planned for this year, that is COPD clinic, Spacer program, Inhale program, and BMJ. So the country-wise distribution of doctors you can see on the screen. And through all these activities, we should be able to engage more than 3,000 doctors this year. Next, I will move on to the next lever of growth, that is the new launches. So in this year, you must have seen that in Viraj's slide also, that we have 9 new launches planned this year. So on the left-hand side, you can see that we had 2 new launches last year, and for the next year, we have some of the good launches planned as well. So overall, put together, we should be able to generate around $1 million of revenue through the new launches. Now talking about new launches, let me invite Mr. Elish from Morocco, because I have a question for him about the new launches, because in Morocco, we had 2 great launches last year, that is Foracort and Tiowa. So I want to know from Mr. Elish that what are their best practices for the successful launches, and going ahead, what are their aspirations?
Okay, thank you, Shruti, for this question. And I want also to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you our experience and best practices. The launch of Foracort and Tiowa was a great success. After 2 years, Tiowa is the leader of COPD market with 59% market share. And Foracort has managed to gain 7% market share in a very competitive environment. These achievements are due to the strong expertise of our MR and managers, but also to our differentiated marketing and sales activities. In order to boost the prescription of Foracort and Saflu, we have launched the Spacer program operation, which a conversion program towards DPI prescribers to shift a patient to a PMDI. With this operation, we reached 250 pulmonologists, retired discus, and Symbicort prescribers. Our communication has focused during our marketing campaigns on the advantage of the PMDI form over the DPI in one unique device for asthma attack and maintenance treatment. For Tiowa, 2 key successes: communication based on efficiency and international recommendation. Tiowa is reducing the rate of COPD-related exacerbation while improving lung function, and it's recommended as a first line in all stages of COPD Gold Report. And the second point is the disease diagnosis improvement, training selected GPs on COPD diagnosis, and involving selected pharmacies through an awareness program to refer patients with COPD symptoms to consult pulmonologists for a proper diagnosis. Our expectation is to continue leading our covered markets by maintaining and expanding our prescription basis, and also putting in place differentiated activities for patient generation.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Elish, for those great insights. Moving on to our next segment, that is brand communication strategy. When it comes to Seroflow and Foracort, it is very simple. When it comes to moderate to severe asthma, that goes in both Seroflow as well as Foracort. Whereas mild asthma, it is specifically for Foracort. And wherever we have only one device, that is PMDI, we will continue with our campaign, which is PMDI versus DPI. For Tiowa, the messaging remains same across all specialties, that is chest, GP and CP. The first message is early COPD detection. Second one is empirical treatment in COPD. And the third one is positioning of tiotropium in the management of COPD. Coming to nasal sprays, this time we have specialty based communication for every specialty, that is for pediatricians and GPs we will be talking about intranasal corticosteroids versus oral antihistamines. For chest we will be talking about asthma and AR overlap, and for ENTs we will be talking about post surgery usage of nasal sprays. Moving on, we come to the last but the important pillar of this year's growth, that is leveraging digital in respiratory. So here you can see that we have ample of options under digital banner. So when it comes to Healthcare Superstar and Global Respiratory Connect, your targets are very simple. We have to make sure that 75% of your MSL are registering for HSS and GRC, and out of that 30% of them are attending the show. Moving on to the digital educator, the targets are also very simple for Nepal, that is 5 patients to be counseled per rep per day. Coming to DMR, 90% of the coverage is something that is expected from you all. And for GBKS campaign, we are expecting 30,000 new patients to be generated. And for Cipla Netflix, 8 logins per medical rep per month is the guideline for this year. Now, this is the plan for the entire year in front of you. So whatever Viraj spoke or I spoke, it's completely summarized in this slide. So here you can see the global respiratory plan, and we are doing everything for one important aim, that is gaining 15% growth in units for next year. So, and as you know that our theme for this year is going above and beyond, what all we are doing to achieve that above and beyond. So here you can see in this table there are multiple activities that are mentioned, which Viraj and we have already spoken about in detail. But on the extreme right side of the table you can see that there are four first activities which are completely new, and after that you can see that we are continuing with the last year's activity, but we are taking much higher growth this year, and this defines how we are going above and beyond next year. Okay, so that was all for respiratory. But before I conclude, I want to ask you all one question. This is a poll question for you. You will see a pop-up on your screen and you will have to answer whatever you feel from the options that are given on your screen. So here it goes. The question is, how do we go above and beyond in reducing respiratory burden on respective countries in FY24? And your options are, the first one is increasing patient detection initiatives, educating GPs more on treatment through certification, ensuring access of medicine to patients, and increasing the counseling on inhalation techniques. Come on, please send your responses. Let us know what you feel. Okay, time's up. And can we have the results, please? Okay, and the results are as expected. So thank you everyone for participating and listening to us. So I wish you all the best for next financial year and do well. Thank you.
That was remarkable. Thank you so much, Mr. Elish, Sajita, Viraj, and Shruti. Well, I totally understood what great achievements respiratory team have had in the last year. And I can say you all have taken respiratory to the next level, and I'm sure you all are going to rise above and beyond in the next year too.
No doubt about it, Pawan, and we have a long way to go. So Pawan, I was so engrossed in the presentation, I have kind of forgotten the flow. So can you please help me here?
Absolutely. Well, Shruti, you know what I'm going to say next.
Yeah, I know. When Pawan is here, there is no fear.
Well, team, we have introduced a different segment this time. We have a great topic to be discussed with some of our great leaders coming up your way. So without taking much time, let me introduce our panel for this segment. We have Tushar from the respiratory marketing team who will moderate this entire discussion today with our country managers, Mr. Jana, Mr. Kushagra Mathur, along with Dr. Weber from the medical affairs.
Can we have a big round of applause for all of them?
Thank you, Pawan and Shruti, for that wonderful introduction, and a big loud cheer for the hosts, Pawan and Shruti. So I present to you one of the most important panels that we have, the respiratory panel. And I have three great gentlemen. First is a medical expert, Dr. Vaibhav. Second is Mr. Kushagra. He's the country manager for Malaysia and Oman. And we have Mr. Jana, who is joining us from Morocco. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining this panel. And let me start this panel with a very fundamental question. And it's one of the hot topics in conferences, and that is the overuse of SABA. AstraZeneca has been endorsing it in all their conferences. Overuse of SABA is a big topic. So, as a medical expert, Dr. Vaibhav, what is your opinion on this?
Thanks, Tushar, first of all, to invite me here. If you see what AstraZeneca is doing, it is not new. It is known that SABA is increasing the risk of death. But this is the half-truth. If we see the whole literature and even the guidelines, the GINA update, what we had recently, it is actually asking everyone to use SABA along with an ICS. So the statement is not don't use SABA. It says that use SABA along with ICS. I had some discussions even with some key opinion leaders globally, and they said that it is not easy. Even the key opinion leaders themselves are still using SABA. So it is very, very hard for anybody to pull off SABA from the people who are taking it. And of course, as you know, in terms of the prescriptions, around 90% of the prescription of SABA is a refill. So it becomes even more difficult for the doctors even to change the behavior of the patient. So I think the right approach should be, and that should be our message whenever we are meeting to any clinician and even in our campaigns, that use SABA, but don't forget to use ICS. I think that is where I would conclude my statement.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Weber. So a balanced approach is what you suggest. So Kushagra, what is your opinion from the context of Malaysia?
So first and foremost, thank you so much, Tushar, for having me in this panel discussion. As far as SABA use is concerned, this question is very pertinent and apt for Malaysia market, because if you look at overall, SABA contribution, which is very high in overall inhalant segment, it is close to $8 million. And so as for us in Cipla, contribution. So for us, ethylene inhaler contributes close to 30 to 35% to overall, business. So it is very important for us to, retain and as well as grow the overall ethylene inhaler business. So we have primarily a two-pronged strategy. So one is to retain and grow ethylene, and second, to upgrade the overall SABA prescriber. Now, if I have to talk about the first strategy wherein we have to retain, what we have done in the country is we have prepared the list of SABA prescriber, and what we have seen that we have looked at that from where we lost the business in last 2 years, and these are primarily the pharmacies. So our people are going and trying to convert those pharmacies. Second is basically we are also working on the prescription side. So for those doctors who are using high SABA, we are upgrading them either on Aerocot and maybe on salmeterol fluticasone through our marketing strategy. This is how we are actually doing.
Wonderful, Kushagra. So let's go from Malaysia and go to Morocco. We have Mr. Jana from Morocco. So Mr. Jana, what do you think? What are your opinions on this question of overuse of SABA?
Very good question, Tushar. The use of SABA is very important also in our country. And we know that the use of SABA are not helping patients. The control total of asthma is the objective of every company. So as a market leader in Morocco and leading in the fixed combination in Morocco, we are working to inform doctors by using SABA only, don't help patient. So our objective is to take market share on SABA market and to transfer it to fixed combination market. And the strategy is to communicate on the total control of asthma. This is the main objective, and this is where we want to be. In Morocco, we estimate there is about 0.5 million patients using only SABA. So for us, it's a big pipeline to take patients from SABA market to fixed combination market. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jana. I think very interesting take, Mr. Vaibhav, Kushagra, and Mr. Jana from Morocco. Now the next burning question. Recently, we concluded the GRC, when the gold guidelines came. And the speakers in the gold guidelines said, or if I may be a little bold in saying that ICS LABA is almost obsolete in the management of COPD. It's a very strong statement. So some views on that. So let's start with Dr. Vaibhav.
Yeah, so thanks Kushagra, thanks Tushar. I think you are bringing in all the controversies to the table today. But I would like to keep it very simple, so though it has made some ripples in the overall medical fraternity, because the gold actually states that don't use ICS SABA for the management of COPD. But I would like to simplify that. If you see the things, the way the things are happening in the management of COPD, around 60%, if not more, in few of the markets, of the patients are treated with the triple therapy. Either that can be a LABA-LAMA plus ICS, or LABA-ICS plus LAMA, or even in some cases LABA-LAMA plus LABA-ICS, right? So most of the patients are taking ICS in one way or the other. So it is very, very hard to move away from ICS. And that is not even the message from the gold. So gold has a very particular structured approach for using the ICS. They favor it, very highly favor it. So there are some patients where gold says you should use ICS. Those patients are if there was a severe exacerbation in the last year, or 2 or more than 2 moderate exacerbations in the last year. If the eosinophil count, blood eosinophil count was more than 300, or the patient has the history of asthma. So these are the 4 important places where guidelines favors strongly towards the ICS based combinations. Still they favor for the patients who had 2 moderate exacerbations in the last year. But they are very against, and of course, the second criteria is if the eosinophil levels are between 100 and 300. But of course, and as you mentioned that, right? So the specific cohort where we don't want to use, and the gold categorically is saying that don't use ICS, are the patients where we have eosinophil level below 100. The patients who have high risk of pneumonia. So these are the two places where guidelines are going against, very strongly against ICS based combinations. But other than that, currently, and specifically for the markets who have joined in, where we are present as a DTM, in most of those markets, I think one or two markets, we have the triple combination as a single inhaler. Right? Otherwise, it is always an ICS LABA plus a LAMA.
Right.
It's hard to change, but I think, and I would expect the guidelines will also clarify these things a little more in little more detail in the next versions. What do you think, Kushagra?
I think that is very practical, and what you have said is discussed in the guideline for many years. Now, if you really look at from the country perspective and what is happening on ground, it has been seen that almost 25 to 30% of ICS LABA prescription is used in COPD. So it's a big number. And second, if you really look at from our positioning point of view, we also talk more of ICS LABA in COPD as well, along with what we are talking about in asthma. And practically, for the patient also, the first point of contact is always general practitioner. And in our MSLs, our market, it's more of GPs who, has the high contribution in overall coverage. So GP's standpoint, if you look at, they generally prefer ICS LABA first. If the disease is not controlled, then they add LABA or they refer the patient to the chest physicians. So that was one. So we will always, focus on ICS LABA in COPD, keeping in mind that it reduces exacerbation. Second, an important thing is the cost of therapy with, a triple drug. That is very, very high and especially in our market, that really matters a lot. And third and very important is the availability of, the triple drug combination. So I think if you really look at all these 3 points, ICS LABA will remain in the context, especially in COPD for time to come.
Yeah. Very interesting thought. So I think I had a thought in the middle, and I think most of us have worked very extensively on that, is inhalation technique. So we spoke about overuse of SABA, we spoke about ICS LABA in COPD, we've mainly spoken about drugs. When it comes to inhalation techniques, a lot of studies say that last 40 years, inhalation techniques have not improved. One of the most important treatment management is proper use of inhalation techniques. Correct. Right? So I want to get just probably a 2 cent or maybe just a 30-second from all three of you, that from an inhalation technique point of view, what is important obviously from a medical standpoint, and as the DTMs, as the countries, what is the effort that we are taking? So starting with you, Dr. Vaibhav.
Nobody can deny who is working in the respiratory and specifically for the inhalation therapy domain, that technique is really an issue. Adherence and technique. If you sort that out, I think 80% of the challenge is already overcome. But it has not. It is not the case. But the solution is very simple, maybe hard to implement, but training. Okay. So as much as we can train our people, as much as doctors can train the patients, and give more details about the device usage, will definitely be a helpful thing. Our platforms like Breathe Free, right? And we have the videos for all the devices. Yes. They can also contribute a lot in that. Second is making people aware that what will happen if they will not be using the things correctly. That should always be that should have a very positive impact on the patients. Because once they will know that what they are missing, they will definitely do all the efforts to control their disease. I think that is, these are two main things. And of course, the third part, which might be a little future or maybe not that much in future, is the technology, right? So there can be an intervention from the technology standpoint where patients can also come to know whether they are actually getting the drug correctly or whether they are actually adherent. And maybe we can discuss that in detail at some other platform.
Yes.
But of course, technology can bring in some solutions.
Kushagra, your thoughts?
I think very important, and everyone understand the importance of inhaler technique in disease control. And especially for both of my market, Malaysia and Oman, wherein we have only PMDIs, and it has been said that PMDI is always been a technique dependent, and we need to train a lot. And it has also been said that even if you have got best of drugs, but if patient don't take it correctly, I think best drug won't work.
True.
So devices are very important in controlling the disease. Having said that, it is also important that to train to all the stakeholders to whom we are meeting. And I think that is the best mantra for building up the respiratory business, because what else we'll talk on Seroflow or Asthelin or any other product which we promote. I think this this area really gives us a lot of differentiation and makes us different from any other company. So what we are actually doing in two of our market is doing a lot of device awareness program at all the level, in maybe in different formats and form, via training to the paramedical staff, training to the nurses, training to the pharmacy in the different cohort. Second and important thing is, since we have to live with PMDIs what we have, and keeping in mind the external challenges from the the DPIs, we are also giving the spacer to the doctors. So it is really helping the doctors, serving their patients effectively through MDI plus spacer. So these are two things which we are actually doing to improve the acceptance and adherence in order to improve the disease control.
So very interesting take, Kushagra.
Yes.
Now let's go to Morocco to Mr. Jana and listen to what he has to say about the inhalation techniques.
I think inhalation is the best way to treat asthma patient. This is the first. So we find the solution that patient taking inhalation, they will be treated well on their asthma. But we know that there is a problem of use of this technique of inhalation. And what we are doing in Morocco is to help people and patients to master the inhalation technique. How we are doing it? We are doing a lot of training, and we are training trainers. Like we say, we are training doctor assistant, we are training nurses, we are training pharmacists, and also we are training, I would say, doctors to help patients to use adequately the inhalation. We know this is very important, but also inhalation, it's the best way to treat asthma patient. So we are working to help the population, the patient, the asthma patient, to use well their inhalation by doing a lot of awareness on how to use inhalation. This is our main objective, to increase the adherence of patient and to increase the success of use of inhalation.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, gentlemen. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Tushar,
for all of you to come and give your opinion and help our viewers a little bit more understanding about respiratory. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Tushar, Mr. Jana, Mr. Mathur and Dr. Vaibhav for taking up such burning issues in respiratory. Anyway, these issues are the talk of the town, but your discussion gave us some practical insights.
Moving on, we have our next segment from cardiology and urology. And to present it, we have Swarit Singh, who will give us a broad understanding on what and how cardio and uro is going to make a difference in FY24, while keeping our vision of rising above and beyond.
Thank you, Pawan and Shruti, for inviting me to the stage. and good day to one and all. Now we are present in the FY24 strategy of cardiology and urology. Before even proceeding with what we have achieved and where we want to go, I would first extend my token of appreciation for all the countries who have been a part of the massive growth that we have registered for our cardio-euro portfolio. Thank you for our two major markets, Sri Lanka, who were in a very odd condition in the start of the year, but have exemplary performed so well that it has turned down the entire cardio-euro portfolio. Nepal, though in the start it looked like that we are not doing very well, from Q2 onwards, Nepal has pulled up and performed like anything. When it comes to our markets like Myanmar and Malaysia, they have fixated only on a single product like Xbira or Trividon and have managed to deliver the growth that they promised in the start of the year. With all these consolidated effort, we were able to achieve 116% YTD and a growth of nearly 56%. So this was the highlight of this year, that we wanted to do 12 million, now we are doing somewhere around 14.5 million. For the next year, we have taken a conscious decision aligned with your countries and teams to grow by a decent margin of 20% growth, okay, which will move our revenue from 14 million to 17 million. So that's the trajectory that we are following. And how do we actually go above and beyond and achieve this is on the right hand side of the slides. These are our focus brand, Zart, Urimax, Atolip, Rosolip, Cresar, Emphogen, Ditor and Cresar AM. In the previous year, we have achieved a 115% YTD achievement and a growth of 62% for our focus product. So in all, we have to go and grow by 20% in the next year, and these are our levers to grow by that percent. Coming down to our hits and misses. We had a lot of hits. Typically, the top three would be the Ditor launch in Sri Lanka. A huge round of applause for all the Sri Lanka team for making it successful. Then comes the prescription growth that we have witnessed in the last year and the focus brand growth. But when we come to the misses, though these misses are noted down over here, but I believe that once we know what our misses are, we can solve it out. So Nepal and Malaysia did not perform to the level that we were expected to be. We had a disalignment in terms of speciality and promotion of the brands. And third, we were not able to very optimally track how many patients did we actually generate. So we will focus on these misses and create a pitch for the next year. Going on, we had 4 pillars in FY23. The first was prescription growth, which we delivered by 23% against 15%. New launches already, I have conveyed my thanks to Sri Lanka team for Ditor, where we are doing 80k USD in a year now, after a launch that was nearly done in the half of the year. Focus brand growth, we are already pegged at 62% growth, which is greater than the overall therapy growth. And 6 out of 8 product will be achieving 100% budget achievement. So that's the good pointers, the good levers that we were able to succeed in. When it comes to the misses, prescriber growth, that is where we lagged. We were only 1%, we have registered only 1% growth in the last year, and that is where we will focus. But we will take that after a certain amount of time. Going on, these are the major highlights of Cardio Euro. You have done a great job at field, and it looks and it is seemingly coming out in the pictures that are present over here. We focused on Ditor, we focused on doctor awareness, doctor engagement and new patient generation. Many events lined up and many events convened successfully has delivered the growth that we were actually expecting to get. Now going on, apart from the general doctor awareness, patient generation that we are doing, we have also kept a huge keen focus on 2 brands, Ditor in Sri Lanka and Cresar AM in Nepal. For Ditor, we have done dialogue meetings over and across the country and tried to onboard prescribers to our kitty. Whereas in Cresar AM, we have done care ad boards where we have instituted a very good governance and performed as and how we have decided. So cheers to the team for helping our new launches grow to this level. Now going down to the next, obviously nothing would be successful without the field team on the ground. We are the people who are discussing with you what to do, but you are actually the bringer of force over there. So congratulations to each and every achiever mentioned in this slide, and we are very happy that we are seeing so many names in the slide. Basically, it is an increment from the last year, so it's a happy thing for us to note. Going down, now FY23 is done, we will come to FY24. Like Respi has also discussed with you, our basic 4 levers for FY24 falls into RXR-based expansion and patient generation, leveraging our digital channels, new launch excellence, which in all and all will contribute to doctor conversion and coverage. But what is it that we actually want from you? We have tried to prepare a very clear and concise plan, what you should follow, that will lead to your 20% growth for this year. Going ahead, this is the reflection that we are expecting at the end of our FY24. If you see, these are all our focus brand noted, and we are seeing a rank increase or a market share increase in all our brands. You can take a screenshot of this and refer to it at your home or afterwards. We will go forward with our next slide. So, now coming down to the basic agenda of this meeting. What do you have to do for each and every brand? When we are talking about Zard, when we are talking about Atolib, what do you actually have to do? And the second focus, the bigger focus is operation conversion. We are doing operation conversion. What does it mean? We will only go with brands to the right specialty and target the right specialty. We won't go anywhere else. So when it comes to this slide, it is telling you which specialty you have to target and how many more doctors do you have to convert to get to the growth that is promised. For Zard, whereas in Sri Lanka we have 290 prescribers currently, we have to add 5 prescribers per rep now in this coming year, which will result to around 85 doctor addition in the specialty of GP and CP. In the same way, Atolib, which is featured into 2 of our big countries, Nepal and Sri Lanka, our focus will be cardios, endos and CPs, and the number of conversion that is expected from you is given over there, 5 non-prescriber doctor conversion. Urimax, one of our legendary brand, we have the most number of prescribers you can see on the screen also, 320 in Sri Lanka and 420 in Nepal. Our basic agenda in Urimax is that we will add new doctors now. Not conversion, we will add new doctors, 5 new doctors will lead us to the growth that we have been promised. And then come Cresaz, which is divided into 4 countries. Now this is a very important brand for us team. This is a high potential, high growth brand. So that is why you will see all the conversion rates are also high. When it comes to Nepal, we want 10 doctor conversion. In Malaysia and Myanmar also, whereas in Sri Lanka, we need 6 doctor conversion. And we will be generally focusing on cardios, we will be focusing on NDCP nephros in Nepal and GPs in the country of Malaysia. Going forward to Myanmar, it would be CP and cardio. Then comes our last legendary brand before we go on to the new brand, that is Rosulip. We currently have 250 prescribers for Rosulip. 5 non-prescriber addition is what you have to do this year. So please team, take a screenshot. This is the essence of the cardio euro slide. I will go forward to the next slide, but you take a keen screenshot of this please. Going on to our new launches, we have 3 basically, Cresar AM, Ditor and Emphogen. These are high growth, high potential brands. So 10 doctor conversion is what we are expecting. By doing all in all, what are we actually trying to achieve? What is our strategy? Strategy is we have a 3 brand, Urimax, Atolib and Zard, which are our legacy brand, and we have Rosulip, Emphogen, Ditor, Cresar and Cresar AM as our potential brand. If you see this year, we have a 59% contribution from Urimax, Zard and Atolib, and a potential brand contribution is around 15%. We want to increase that contribution from the potential brand. So next year, we are focusing on 20% for potential brands and nearly 55% for our global brands. But this is all data, all science and everything that we have told, but how will you actually convert these doctors? Because without levers, it is not possible. So this time in cardio, previously we used to do doctor engagement and new patient generation. Now we are adding one more lever, chemist focus, that has been demanded by some of our countries. Now if you see the slide over here, I would first like to highlight you the new crimp that is placed on the slide over here. We did a very elaborate exercise with the countries where we tried to know that which initiatives were actually successful and what do they actually need. Basis on the need and the gap, we have come up with initiatives for you so that it supports you in doctor conversion in all the other levers that you are trying to achieve. So we will be having care study, in our major countries now. We will be having a tri-nation cardiology program with 50 to 60 doctors, preferably in an international location. We will be having inpatient generation BPH clinic and metabolic clinic, which will be a collaboration of both diagnosis and awareness and support, patient support. Then going on to a niche patient support program that we are coming up with. It will help your doctors to generate patients, and it will also help to get good relations with the patients and the doctor. And when we come to the chemist side of it, we have Chemist Connect meeting scheduled in Sri Lanka and Myanmar. So all in all, you see that we have many new initiatives that will help you to leverage the stream, the trend that we are following, and ensure the growth that we are expecting. Going down to my last slide, how does the entire yearly planner actually looks in front of us? This is the final summary slide. In the central initiative, we have metabolic clinic engaging nearly 500 doctors that are decided. BPH clinic nearly engaging 350 doctors. Then tri-nation cardiology program, it will be an international symposium program that we are planning. Then care paid survey, which has 70 doctors engagement. And then we go on to our medium scale initiatives also, like Ask the Expert, the advisory board, and patient support program. In all, with the help of central team, you will be able to engage nearly 1300 doctors. And on a local level, you will be doing the activities that we have been doing, and with a certain sense of refinement, we will be engaging around 7,300 doctors. Just imagine, we had planned an engagement of 5,200 doctors last year, and this year we are planning to engage 8,500. Now that is a sign of growth that we are speaking. It is a 57% increase in the doctor engagement plan also. So in all, you are getting new levers, you are getting new initiatives, you are getting yearly planner that has been segregated and refined to a final level. All your stakeholders have been aligned, the field team has also been looped in. So I would thank all the stakeholders, the country managers, the NSM, the field team members for helping curate this strategy. And we expect that the next year would be more successful for us. With this, I end the cardio slides. And I would like to invite Akalanka for the question and answer round. So Akalanka, the question from my side to you would be, despite the current economic conditions in Sri Lanka, the team has maintained and delivered 50% growth in the market. You being the pilot of the entire project, how do you see the next year panning out? And also, what do you think are the success initiatives that led to this growth this year?
Thank you for asking that question, Swarit. Answering to your question, of course, we when things were a little unstable, we knew where we are heading. So actually, to deliver 50% growth, we had our market sensing in place because we are an experienced team and our systems and processes are well placed. So the main precursor to this success is well planning. I may say pre-planning. So we start with supplies and we assure the supplies with supply chain. And we knew that we had the access to Indian credit line because the finance team and Azam gave us the confidence that goods will continue to flow. And then we planned for supplies, continuous supplies. So then after that, we went on having the field operations in place. Especially, I must give credit to the entire Cardio Euro team. Their untiring effort during petrol queues, during country shutdown, the curfews, they worked pretty much hard. So this is the reflection of their work, and they have been working very much close with doctors and close with pharmacies. So we have Cardio Europe, basically we have push and pull hybrid model. So we need our doctors to have sustainable sales, and also we need our pharmacies. So our engagement, we increased quite rapidly, and especially with the sales team, we were able to meet pharmacists twice a week, and we were able to give continuous supplies, not like other firms. And then when it comes to this market sensing, we knew this opportunity was coming and we prepared ourselves. And answering to your second question, whether how will be FY24? Of course, Cipla is poised to go up in the ranks in time to come. With local intel, we know we are much better than that of our competitors and much higher revenue than that of our competitors. We are recording much higher revenue. And in time to come, IMS will, or IQVIA will reflect that data, but they are working on MAT basis. So FY24 also, we will deliver the numbers, and our team's commitment and our systems and processes and our work style is dedicated to deliver FY24. And I believe that is it from my end, Swarit.
So thank you, Akalanka, for your wonderful answer. This is a note to other countries. He has already spilled the success mantra of his country, and he has also told good news for all the Sri Lanka field team member that things are getting better and we will be back on track with a much higher growth this year. So coming to the last piece of this segment, the polling question. The question and the options are on your screen. You have your time to answer. Go ahead, please. I hope all of you have keyed in your answers. Thank you for allowing me to take the stage and discuss about cardiology and urology segment and the success mantra for next year. Just remember operation conversion. That is the only thing. Specialty focus, and we will be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Akalanka and Swarit, for such a detailed plan on cardiology and urology for FY24. I'm sure cardiology and urology is going to rise above and beyond.
We are back with our second round of panel discussion. This discussion will help us understand cardiology and urology along with digital. And to moderate the same, we have Devdutt Kaushal, who heads the cardio-uro marketing team. And along with that, we have the panelists, Mr. Nirparaj, Mr. Azam, and Mr. Abdul Qadir. Can we have a big round of applause for all of them?
Hello everyone, thank you Pawan and Shruti, you are doing a great job, and we just finished respiratory presentation followed by Swarit, who just finished cardiology presentation, and which brings to a very important panel discussion. I think the objective of this session is to help the audience understand that what beyond respiratory can be done, what beyond routine work can be done. So we have a very important question which we all have to record is digital. And to help us solve this riddle, we have three experts from different countries representing Mr. Nirparaj from Nepal, Mr. Azam from Sri Lanka, and Mr. Abdel from Algeria. So friends, with these objectives in mind, I take great opportunity to invite Mr. Nirparaj from Nepal. And welcome to panel discussion, Nirparaj. And my question to you is that what is your plan to grow beyond respiratory, which therapy areas you are very bullish about and why?
Thank you, Devdutt and team, for getting me on this WeRise platform. As rightly said, why I am bullish on beyond respiratory in Nepal and other markets. Because respiratory, we are leader. We have established ourselves as a leader, and we need to continue that status, and we are continuing also. But as you know, we need to immune ourselves beyond respiratory. Though we have established lung leadership, but beyond lung leadership, if I have to look in Nepal particularly, I will be looking at urology, cardiology, and some OTC segment, because beyond the respiratory, urology is the place where we are a leader. And being a therapy leader, the doctors or the segment expect us to launch many products and behave like a leader. So we are bullish on this, and this year we are going to be focusing on urology also. And cardiology, as you know, it's like, Cipla central team, is focusing in many countries cardiology. And in Nepal also, we have a history of having strong brands in cardiology, which we want to continue in future. And that's why I'm very bullish. We have established the base. We had our own teething problem in cardiology of supplies and all this, which we have resolved. We have identified our power brands, and we are now going to focus on our activities which will be result oriented. So this is the focus which we are driving in Nepal. Beyond this, we are looking at OTC segment, which I think healthcare, Cipla healthcare products like Nicotex, Costals will be also explored in this market. So this will drive. I am bullish that we will be establishing beyond respiratory in Nepal and other markets. Thank you, Devdutt.
Thank you, Nirpraj. That was indeed very insightful, that beyond respiratory, how you are looking to fuel your growth in your market. And you rightly said that you have evolved in cardiology, you are very bullish, you are focusing on leadership and urology, and obviously the OTC segment, which is also a upcoming segment, and look forward. Now, I want to toss a question which is beyond therapies, like which everybody is aware of, is much talked about word is digital. We all know that digital is a way of life. And so I would like to invite our panel, Mr. Abdul from Algeria, to help us show direction that what are your views on digital, and how you think that digital can be leveraged in emerging markets for key therapy areas for the year 23-24.
I totally agree with it's a way of life. But today at Cipla, I think that we are well beyond the stage of implementing digital tools, since several channels are already widely used by our teams on daily basis. Nevertheless, we must all be aware of the importance and the positive impact of these digital channels in achieving our business objectives. Actually, a tool like DMR can, without any doubt, increase our share of voice in a tangible way, so that we can position ourselves beyond the competition when considering the number of exposures of our brand to the customers. Currently, and for the next year, if I have a message to convey, it will be twofold. The first one is for our field force. Let's be aware that DMR, Cipla Medflix, healthcare superstars are outstanding promotional tools that allow us to both clearly differentiate ourselves from our competition and also allow us to go beyond our physical capacity in terms of coverage and visit frequency. The second message is for our marketing team. As you know, the relevance of these digital tools is closely linked to the relevance of the content. By choosing content that is consistent with the messages we convey through our field force, and that is in line with therapeutic needs of our customers. We can only be the best in terms of proximity to our customers, and we will be more and more differentiated in our highly competitive market. This is my view, but
Well, that was indeed insightful again, Abdul, and you very well summed it up. I think digital is the way of life, and the way you said it very important for the audience point of view, that it's the content which has to be updated and which has to be relevant to the audience, and different channels whereby message can be percolated, be it DMR or different programs which are important for educating SCPs in respiratory segment, be it Healthcare Superstar, Cipla Netflix. I think these are all the great mix in digital and which are true Cipla differentials in international market. So I hope the message is very much clear to everyone in the group who are listening to the experts. Now, let me jump on to the third gentleman, and this holds very relevant to all the people who are listening to this RISE meeting, that how as a country you can grow in different therapy areas. So obviously there is there's leadership in respiratory, but is there any therapy whereby you can gain leadership, you can be bullish about? I think I'll not shy away taking name of Sri Lanka, who has been in phenomenal form this year, delivering brilliant brands, building some very good brands, be it new launches, and that too in extraordinary conditions which has country gone by. So we have a gentleman who doesn't need any introduction, and he is none other than Mr. Azam, as an expert panel who can throw us some light on that. What is his perspective on cardiology and urology in terms of driving growth? And Azam, what are your top bets for year 23-24?
Thank you, Dev, for that lovely introduction. And definitely, we are, very proud of, what our team has achieved in Sri Lanka. I think this resilience piece, what Sri Lanka has demonstrated, over the last 18 months, had been very significant. And I give a lot of kudos and credit to the team, and they have delivered. Going back to the answering your question about how bullish are you for cardio diabeto in the coming financial year? Yes, we are very strong, and we are very very optimistic about making a big wave. We have enough justifiable reasons to say that. As you know, Dave, diabetes is a NCD that is growing very significantly, and heart failure is another area that is a pain point in Sri Lanka. Now, what we have done is we have launched Diato for the first time in Sri Lanka, a torsemide brand, which is doing exceptionally well. And I'm very, very bullish about making a big wave out of that. And Infogen and Daito will go together to treat heart failure. So diabetes, dyslipidemia, and heart failure, these are the three big bullet points that we are looking at. So we will be working around that. And we also have some mega brands like the likes of Zart and Atolip and Urimax. Zart, as a strategy, what we have done is we have initiated this localization project, and we have submitted local dossier, and we are looking at mid-year launch or even before that. Then Zart will be manufactured in Sri Lanka, so which is a first-time initiative any pharmaceutical company, any international pharmaceutical company has done in Sri Lanka. Similarly, we are looking at Urimax. Urimax, we have close to about 70% market share, and all what we have been doing is, we are a knowledge partner in Euro segment, and we are maintaining that. We have invested quite a lot around that, and I'm sure it will yield better results in this year. And we are adding more products to the portfolio. And one important thing before I conclude is, I should talk about pharmacy relationship manager. That's another first time initiative Cipla has done in Sri Lanka. And we started this about 2.5, 3 years ago. And today it has become an unshakable strength for us. So, which we will continue, and we will continue to add value there. And we have all the pharmacists behind us with a lot of confidence and a lot of conviction that Cipla is the company that they would prefer to work with. So with all this, I will conclude. Devdutt, thank you very much for all the support. And FY24, we are looking at even bigger and stronger and higher. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Azam. I think this was really impeccable narration, and how you have overall, I will say that shaped up the therapy, not just from product point of view, in terms of long-term thinking, building future portfolios like heart failure and hypertension, and betting on the right brands. Ditor itself is a great example. So maybe audience who are listening, this could be, way of cloning a Sri Lanka model in your country, and cardio could be your bet, which could be an alternate in terms of fueling the growth for the market. And obviously at lot of first, Sri Lanka is blessed with a lot of first, be it Ditor, or first time they're doing localization. So again, products will be rolled out in the country, like Azam mentioned, in Zat, and henceforth, hands on. So I think this panel discussion has created lot of, pathways or a roadmap for us and others listening, and we will take the most out of it. And thank you very much, gentlemen, for devoting your time and giving us direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Devdutt, Mr. Abdul, Mr. Azam, Mr. Nirparaj, for taking out your precious time and helping us understand on cardio, euro and digital.
Moving on to our next segment.
Hold on, Shruti. I'm really exhausted with the information that we all have received. So team, do you think we need a quick 15 minutes break?
You're right, Pawan. I think everyone needs a break. While the break is on, you can go and explore the lobby, where we have just uploaded some of the important inputs which are really, really important for you for the next financial year.
Absolutely. And we will see you right after 15 minutes. But at the same time, we also have digital, training, medical, HR, finance and SFE coming up right your way.
Hello, namaskar, bonjour, alan and hola. Welcome back. I really took my 15 minutes to reflect on the previous segments, and I also grabbed my cup of coffee. Did you? Well, moving on to our next segment, you must have guessed it right. Who's next? Yes, you're absolutely right. Who's none other than our very own Mr. Pawan Lalwani. Pawan is going to talk about what we have done in the training segment in the year FY23 and what big things are coming up your way in the next financial year. So over to you, Pawan.
Welcome everyone to WeRise, and today I'm going to talk about on the functional training for our people capability. So let's begin with our overview of FY23, what we have done, what we have achieved. So if you see on the left side, FY23 planned versus FY23 actual. So we actually planned 31 topics with 9,000 learning hours for this year. So far, till YTD Jan, we have already achieved 32 topics with 9,780 learning hours. Wonderful team. If you see, our knowledge gain impact is 22% compared to the last year. Now, along with that, we have covered 249 unique learners across all the countries with the trainings on 12 cardio trainings, 11 respiratory trainings and 9 sales trainings. So if we see 21, 22 and 23, what we have achieved over 3 years, we have significantly achieved and gained over 12% compared to the last year in our A category. And in fact, we have also gone down in our B category from 26 to 14%. So with looking at this 3 years data, we can say that yes, we all are doing wonderful in our trainings. That is actually helping us getting more business as well. So we have 3 applications, 3 learning platforms that we are using: Teams, Percipio, and MindTickle. 50% our major is our MindTickle. 40% we are using it on Teams, and 10% we are utilizing on Percipio. Now, if I have to summarize this entire slide into the highlights of the year, as I said, A category learners have increased by 12% compared to the last year. Again, I would like to congratulate each one of you, and everybody can give a round of applause for yourself. An average training score has been 4.8. So be it medical training, marketing training, or sales training, our average training have come 4.8. So you all have rated us 4.8 out of 5. We also see an upward trend category going up. So we are from 62 to 71% to 83%. We have gone up in A category. In B category, from 27 to 26 to 14%, we have gone down, which is again a very good number. Also, I would like to definitely thank and congratulate these 5 countries who have completed all the training completions, starting with Morocco, Oman, Myanmar, Nepal, and Malaysia. Congratulations to all these countries. Moving to the next slide, we have our champions. So these are the major programs that we conducted in the last year, be it a 3D detailing championship, be it a clinical engagement training journey, or be it MindTickle. And along with that, we also had few snippets where you were talking about MindTickle, how MindTickle is actually helping you in rising and shining. So what we will do is we will just see few testimonials from our people across all the countries where they are going and talking about how 3D championship, how clinical engagement, and how MindTickle has actually helped them. So starting with Sarju.
Namaste, I'm Sarju Hada. I have been working in Cipla from the last 16 years as a business development officer. Recently, I have won a 3D detailing championship from our country, Nepal. And after winning that competition, I'm much more motivated. It has made me feel more responsible while sitting with doctors in the chambers. Moreover, I can strongly deliver the scientific contents with much more confidence with the doctors and strongly demand the prescriptions of our products, which has definitely added value in achieving my targets. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarju. So also, if I have to give you a brief, we had more than 150 recordings received from all of you on Cipla Way of Selling, which is again a wonderful job everybody has done here. Now moving on to our clinical engagement, which is the next section by Anas from UAE.
Hi, good evening all. Anas here from Cipla UAE. Today I will have some words regarding the clinical engagement program conducted by Pawan. Now this clinical engagement program has been very much important, where I have started understanding about the doctor's behavior as well as the doctor's personality profile. Now when I am visiting a doctor, I know what to speak to the doctor and what kind of personality color the doctor is. So I can communicate accordingly with the doctor. So I believe that this clinical engagement program has been very much essential for our day-to-day calls. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anas. Again, clinical engagement has helped all our medical representatives in understanding the personality profile for each doctor and how to communicate with them. Moving on to our third MindTickle, we have Palinappan from Oman team who is going to talk about how MindTickle has actually helped him and overall everyone.
Hi and hello dear all. This is Palinappan from the Oman team. It gives me great pleasure to talk about the excellent learning tool MindTickle introduced by Pawan ever since COVID. Rightly named as MindTickle, it did not fail to tickle our minds. It helps us to unlearn preconceived thoughts and to learn the new practices. To me, MindTickle helped me in learning new things and to gain confidence. So I am sure this must have helped you all also. Thanks to Cipla, thanks to Pawan for the learning opportunity given. Best regards and thank you to you all.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Palanappan. I'm sure MindTickle is definitely helping each one of you to complete all your assessments, be it product, be it marketing, be it medical or the sales training. I would definitely would like to congratulate, these people definitely deserve a big round of applause. Starting with Waji from Morocco, Nepal, Ramesh, Sri Lanka, Tharendu, Aisam from Algeria, Fu from Myanmar, Suresh from Oman, Medat from UAE and Ruzani from Malaysia. So these are our leader teachers who have helped us in each and every training program that we have conducted, and they are one of the best people across all the countries. With that, I would also definitely like to thank our medical representative who have been wonderful. They have completed all their learning assignments and they are the top winners across all these countries. So starting with UAE, Nepal, Morocco, Myanmar, Oman, Algeria, Sri Lanka and Malaysia. Congratulations to each one of you. Okay, now if I have to talk about what exactly it's stored in for us for the next financial year in learning and development, what we have done is we have created your individual learning journeys. So if you are an individual contributor, you have a different learning journey with the quarter wise, and if you are a manager and FLM, you have a different learning journey. Now you must be seeing there are two colors. The one with the orange color are the ones that are newly, for this year we are conducting new training programs for you all. So if you see month over month, you will have different kind of trainings that you will be going through basis on your capabilities. So why and how exactly it's going to happen is either it will be by our medical team, marketing team or sales team, or maybe through an external vendor if required. These are functional and digital trainings that you will be going through month over month. If you have any question, you can reach out to me at any time on this slide. Now, going above and beyond training aspiration for FY24, again, with inlining to our marketing, our sales, this is the entire training program that we are focusing in the next financial year. Starting with capability building, doctor conversion and coverage. We will be focusing on 10% of your HL, HM doctor to move to HH. So that is something that we'll be training and focusing month over month on all of you. Our second is Cipla way of working. How exactly you are already trained on Cipla way of selling, but how exactly you should be working in the field. So we'll have a quarterly detailing on that, and with governance, we'll also be checking with the FLMs as how things are shaping up in Cipla way of working. Our third one is digital learning, on-the-go skill learning. Now what we are also focusing this year is a learning journey for each one of you to complete the course without any support or without any one's help. So with that, what will happen is as soon as you start with the learning journey, you would not require anyone's support. You will have assessments, you will have the learning journey to complete it. And what we are focusing in this year is 90% of the people completing it with 85% above scores. And last but not the least, we are also planning to focus on our managers, which is the MDP. I know all of you have been missing the MDP since last 3 years, I guess. So manager development program is coming soon, which will focus on 3 aspects for our managers, on people, customer and business. So this is something that we are aspiring in FY24, going above and beyond. Moving on to our next segment, we have Suresh from Oman team, and I have a question for Suresh. So Suresh, if you can tell me and tell us, all of us, how exactly training has helped the Oman team shaping up in terms of in-clinic discussions. Over to you, Suresh.
Thank you, Pawan, for having me here. Pawan, it was an eventful year indeed to have many training sessions. All were relevant and useful. particularly a session on customer conversion and 3D detailing championship has helped my team to have a better in-clinic discussion. I'm sure not only in Oman, many other countries would have seen this difference.
Thank you so much, Suresh. With that, on that note, I have another question for you. How exactly are you planning to focus in the next year on the in-clinic discussion with Oman team?
Well, Pawan, we will discuss with you and our HR team to know what are the sessions planned centrally, how they are going to impact our DPC. And if required, we will align with you to have a local training sessions for a specific topic with a local trainer. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Suresh, for that. Okay, last but not the least, this slide is definitely going to be explained by Saju on lead, which is learning, engagement, activity, and digital. So you will be focusing on specific targets to get more and additional incentives. We will definitely have discussions, we will have calls with each country, and we will be informing you as what your learning targets would be, what your efforts target or engagement targets would be, what is your activity targets and digital targets would be. And there are two major initiatives that we have taken in FY24. One is a learning buddy for EMNU. So if anyone who will be joining, you as a medical representative are going to help them to go through the entire digital learning journey. So we will be soon launching that learning buddy in EMNU. And second is Learning Academy. So every quarter, the learning will keep happening from the best practices of your leader teachers, okay? So it will not be the medical team or the marketing team or me or anyone. It will be your leaders who will be coming, helping, understanding and training all of you on the refresher trainings on the functional topics. So with that, I sign off. Thank you everyone. And you all have a wonderful FY24. Thank you.
Pawan, that was wonderful. I think we have come a long way when it comes to training segment over the last 3 years, and all thanks to you for whatever you have done in this section.
Thank you so much, Shruti. On that note, moving on to our next segment, which is currently a talk of the town. And to present that, we have Prateek from Digital Team. Can we give a round of applause for Prateek?
Thank you, Pawan and Shruti. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to WeRise. So, today we will be talking about the digital walkthrough. And before starting with my presentation, I would just like to show you, and we can just stay on this slide just to see that how we have performed versus the current aspirations in this year. This is just to create a base and for you understanding that how we have performed in the last financial year and how we are going to perform or what are the aspirations in the next financial year. So if you see for DMR, the DMR coverage is exceptionally well. We have outperformed our numbers, which is 87%, close to 87%. While on the number of active days and the minimum successful telecalls, I think we need to improve here. Coming to healthcare superstars, again on the registration part, per episode we have done quite well, and we have surpassed our average of 5,000 numbers. But in terms of attendance and average watch time, I think we again have to improve here. Similarly, in Cipla Medflix, we have just crossed the 21,000 mark, while in terms of MAU, total engagement time and total app installs, I think we need to improve again. Before I just start with my presentation, I just want to give you a quote from George Westermark. He has given a very beautiful quote which says that in digital transformation, if everything is going well, it's like a caterpillar who is getting transformed into a butterfly. But if it is not going right, it's just a caterpillar who is running fast. So having said that, I just want to say here is that in our current organization or in our current digital transformation, it means that if any organization is doing well in terms of digital transformation, I think they can have a really good or exceptional output in terms of business outcomes. But if it is not doing well, then I believe it's just we are competing with each other. So to start with, I just wanted to set the context that our next financial year will be more focused on digital transformations. So this is our Cipla's digital presence across the globe. So if you see, the ones in blue are the DTMs, and the ones in orange are the B2B markets, where we have the digital presence across the globe. Now coming to the Cipla's digital evolution, it starts with basically when we started moving from print to digital. It's when the medical representative got the iPad in their hands and they started doing the iPad detailing in the doctor's clinic. That's when we actually started the digital evolution. And the next step was basically to improve, to adopt and adapt to the digital changes in a slow and steady manner, where we started engaging with our doctors via different digital tools and different digital initiatives like Healthcare Superstar, DMR, Cipla Medflix. So like you are aware that Healthcare Superstar is Cipla's international web series. Cipla Medflix is our only respiratory mobile application, and DMR is basically a tool which was created for the reps and the doctors to engage with the doctors via different channels like WhatsApp and emails. Now the next step involves integrating all these channels, technologies and the tools together to have a data-driven insight and to take actions based on the output from these insights. So basically we are trying to now, in the next financial year, we're trying to merge all these channels and the technologies together so that we are getting a better output and results in terms of business outcome. Very quickly, I just wanted to show the digital evolution. So in 2018, we launched iConnect and GRC, followed by in 2020, we launched HSS and DMR application. In 2021, Cipla Medflix and GBKS was launched, and followed by in 2022, Breathe Free Educator was launched. And in the current year, we have recently launched GRC in a very new way. So the question is, what next? So how do we evolve and how do we change in the next financial year in terms of digital transformation? So basically, we have created this digital center of excellence, and this is our vision and goals for FY24. So only 1% of the data is actually analyzed by the businesses to get the result or to get the desired benefits or results for their businesses. So this is very important. So data plays a very important role, and with improved targeting, the key objectives for this financial year would be improved targeting, increased exposure to the doctors, increasing the Cipla's share of voice, knowledge partnering with multiple associations and agencies, data synchronization, and basically database expansion. So we are planning to improve our database here on. So finally, the results of all this will be having a more data-centric insights, where we'll be able to understand the HCP behavior, we'll be able to understand the HCP persona, which doctors are more digital tech savvy, or which doctors still prefer face-to-face connect. Similarly, an increased MR efficiency will be output of all these activities, and an increased engagement time with the doctors, eventually leading to business outcome and prescription sales. And now, how are we planning to reach there? So the first phase will be in H1, which is the data consolidation. That's why I encourage everyone that start using or start leveraging all the digital initiatives to the maximum capabilities, so that we get maximum doctors on our platforms, and we can use that data to do the further analysis for better outcomes. So the first phase in H1 will be data consolidation, followed by the pilot in some of the countries to see how we are performing in this aspect, and finally the rollout in the Q4 is our plan or our strategy to go ahead in the next financial year. Now the aspirations Now, how do we reach there basically are by these aspirations which we have just put down here for you all. And if we follow this, we are definitely going to make it and achieve our aspiration for the next financial year. So 5,000 is the healthcare superstar registration, all with all the DTMs together is our aspiration. Currently we are at 4,000, and if every rep in their MSL register 75% of their doctors, I think we can achieve this number. Now every DTM will have to pitch in, like for example, when they share their aspiration. For example, Nepal give 1,000 registration, or Morocco gives 700 registration. So they will have to pitch in extra this financial year in terms of digital initiatives like Healthcare Superstar and GRC to achieve the said number or the aspirations. Similarly, for in terms of attendance, 1,500 is our aspiration from DTMs, and if we get 30% of the doctors of the registered 75% to attend the webinar, I think we will be able to reach this number. On the DMR part, I think we are doing quite well. We are currently at 87%, and 90% is not a big task. So I think we can easily reach there. But the number of active days per rep is a concerning part, which we feel that should be done. And out of 22 days in a month, if the ask is basically 14 days, the DMR application should be used by every rep to engage with the doctors via any channel. On Cipla Netflix, I think 75% MSL coverage is our aspiration, that every rep should reach out to 75% of their MSL doctors. 6 webinars per DTM in a year is the requirement. So 12 doctor videos is the need of the hour from each DTM in a financial year. Coming to iConnect, 2 minutes of e-detailing per rep, per call is the requirement. And finally, in Breathe Free Educator, 5 new patient generation per rep is the requirement in the next financial year. So for the next couple of slides, I would like to invite Mr. Swarit Singh. He will be taking you through the Cipla Netflix part.
Thank you, Prateek, for handing out the mic to me. Good day to one and all present in this RISE forum. And we are currently covering Cipla Netflix now, the anything and everything for respiratory. Now, when I say Cipla Netflix, I believe that it was the differential that you demanded and we delivered. To check out that equation, let us ask ourselves 3 questions. Are we trying to go above the normal brand-to-brand communication with the doctors that we are having? Does your doctor like to have updates, respiratory updates every day and at a frequency that he likes? And the third part is, do we have the intent to go above and beyond and become digitally savvy? So if you have correctly answered those questions in your head for Cipla Netflix, you will now see that Cipla Netflix is the future. When we are calling Cipla Netflix, is the future of respiratory knowledge. Okay. Now, what have we actually achieved in the last 1.5 years is that, it's also on your screen now. We have created Cipla Netflix with a broader agenda of having a content-rich directory for our doctors. In the same way, now we have integrated all our global shows like Healthcare Superstar, Global Respiratory Connect into Cipla Netflix. What makes it so special is that now it reaches out to 50+ countries and has a registration of more than 5,000 and an attendance of more than 1,000. When we come to the in-country video production that actually we are producing now, thank you to Nepal, Myanmar and UAE who have actually taken part in that, and we will be extending it out to other countries. We have key opinion leaders onto our platform, providing videos for us and educating the entire diaspora present. Then we come to the third agenda, which is the local webinars. Now we have seen in the last year that countries like Malaysia, Myanmar, Morocco, Nepal have conducted their webinars onto the platform, which has brought in significant number of audience to the platform. And then comes our static content that we monthly roll out, that are the articles, the presentation, the news feed. But all in all, when we do all these things, what were the result? that we actually garnered from Cipla Medflix. Our aspirations, as mentioned over here, was we had to onboard 21,000 users with a monthly active users of around 15%, that amounts to 3,200. We have surpassed both the key metrics. And I will tell you, it's not by a small margin, it's by a large margin. When it comes to the amount of time that a doctor is spending on Cipla Medflix, we put a benchmark of 21 minutes. We are doing a healthy 18 minutes against it. And the fourth metric, that is the app install, we had an aspiration of 5,000. We are currently at 4,000, but we always have a scope to improvement over there. Apart from this, I am also very glad to mention that we are celebrating our 100+ content onto Cipla Medflix now. So the problems that our field team were facing, that the content is a little low in number, has now been solved. Now going to the next slide, that actually talks about the performance of the countries for Cipla Medflix in the current 1 year, is that we have the first rank secured by Algeria, a huge round of applause, who have 66% of their doctors regularly consuming Cipla Medflix. It is just followed by Morocco and Sri Lanka with the same number of active users, that is 41% out of the entire MSL that is registered onto Cipla Medflix, and Nepal on the 4th position with 37% active users. So a great round of applause for all the champions who have made this true, made this dream come true. And a simple request to all other countries to pull up your socks and be in the League of Champions. Now, when we say that we did a number of things in FY23, it's imperative that some would be hit and some would be a miss. So what were the hits in this year? We have consistently rolled out 10 content in the last 6 months as an average. We have moved to societies in your country, Nepal being a part of it. We have also seen collaboration coming in from Myanmar. Apart from that, we are making KOL videos in your own country, participate into it. This is a big lever that we want to promote next year. Then all your webinar will be now streamed on Cipla Medflix. Book your webinars to get it streamed on Cipla Medflix now. It is a very essential lever that we have to follow. And social media, that is driven by the HO and has been doing good considerably. But when we talk about hits, there is also a miss. Cipla Medflix Champion Series, we had 2 editions of it. It did not perform very well, but we believe that still our field team members are the essence of promoting Cipla Medflix on the ground. Now, everything said and done, we have discussed about the hits, the misses, where are we actually standing. Now let's go, what do we have to do? I just require 4 simple things from you. Nothing more, nothing less. First is every country should take participation in user-generated content. 1 video per month is the governance, so that makes it 12 doctor video in a year. Note that down, take a screenshot and sponsor your doctor to be a part of Cipla Medflix. Then local webinar. Every country has to air minimum of 6 local webinars onto Cipla Medflix. That is the governance that you need to take from here. And when it comes to our global events like Healthcare Superstar and Global Respiratory Connect, 75% of the MSL should be registered and 30% of the MSL should attend the show as provided by Prateek. Okay. All in all, these levers will help you convert doctors, and we will also cover doctors to a limit of 75% through our channels like DMR and iConnect. So that's it for Cipla Medflix. Now I would like to invite Prateek back on the stage so that he can summarize what we have discussed in the digital slides for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swarit. So finally, coming to the last slide in digital is basically what is expected out of you in terms of the financial aspirations of 2023-2024. So on the left, on the extreme left, you will see the number of digital resources we have available right now, and followed by the current status with the KPIs or the KRAs, which with the numbers, current numbers, and what are expected numbers against the current numbers highlighted in green. So maybe you can just take a screenshot so for your better understanding or reference. I think that will help. Also, how will you achieve these numbers are by the channels at your disposal. So you have Cipla Medflix, DMR and iConnect as a tool, digital tool, which will help you achieve these numbers. And finally, you can engage, and I would encourage you to engage your doctors by leveraging these digital initiatives like Healthcare Superstar, GRC, local webinars, user-generated content, and Breathe Free. So I think with all these channels and tools at your disposal, I think achieving these numbers shouldn't be a big task. So before I conclude with my slides, I would like to invite Isam for the next session with a question I would like to ask him, because we have been seeing consistently that Algeria has been performing quite well in terms of the conversion rate when it comes to registration versus attendance, and they have a conversion rate of close to 45%. So Isam, this question is for you. How do you manage to get this conversion rate?
Project, basically, I don't believe that Algeria have such a secret or different way to get a high conversion rate. On the other hand, I do believe strongly that more we are ourselves convinced by what we are doing, convinced by what we are proposing as a project, convinced that it is useful and will give doctors an added value, more we will be able to convince and have doctor adherence and commitments. Concretely, Pratik, developing our connection with our doctors and capitalizing on that through a very close follow-up, using face-to-face, phone calls, SMS, and all available digital tools. And as possible and as necessary.
Thank you, Isam. Thank you for that insightful answer. So with this, I conclude my presentation, and I would like to wish you all the best for the next financial year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pratik, for giving those wonderful insights on digital. Do you know, Shruti, looking at all these presentations, I'm sure SFE, digital and training will be the catalyst in achieving all the sales and marketing goals for the next financial year, which is WeRise above and beyond.
I completely agree with you, Pawan. And on that note, let's welcome Mr. Saju Mon, who heads the SFE function and who is going to talk about how effectively we all can work in the next financial year and how more and more incentive you all can earn. So please give it a big hand for Mr. Saju Mon.
Thank you, Shruti and Pawan, for the wonderful introduction. You have made my day. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Salesforce effectiveness. What do you think of sales of effectiveness, SFE? Is it a complex topic, or is it a friend of yours who help you to wade through the bushes? SFE is sure shot mantra to generate demand from the right set of customers by following the right processes. More prescription from more number of customers by communicating the right message. What you say to the customer and what the customer expect from you, and we need to find out the relevance. We will find out the relevant message by doing RCPA and interacting to the customers. And finally, we will perform through prescriptions. SFE facilitating DTM success. These are some hard truths, hard facts. We have 225 medical representatives, 37 managers, 8 DTMs. Of course, we are expanding. 35,000 doctors, 11,700 pharmacies, and 24,000 doctors prescribing our products, 5 lakh plus prescriptions a month, doing RCPO of 28,000 doctors, 34,000 brand exposure. 12,796 hours of iPad detailing happened this year. It is monthly somewhere around 1,280 hours of detailing. And most importantly, finally, we have 96% of the MRs earning incentive. That is very important metrics of success. And looking at the financial year 23, the hits and misses, where we scored and where we need to improve upon. Lead score, we have been doing pretty well. Prescription reporting has been good. Incentive earning, as I mentioned earlier, it has been good. In clinic time that we spend, that is helping us. Then DMR success has been growing because the updation of the customer master and more people are using the DMR tool. Then MSL updation, a feature has been given to the MRs for updating MSL from their end, and web DCR option has been given to people. And these are the successes, and of course we have areas where we need to work on to improve. One is e-detailing. We need to improve, and we need to do e-detailing for minimum 80% of the doctors. Now, Physio offers plethora of reports. We need to analyze, use those reports. Now, another aspect is prescription reporting. Though it is good, but some MRs continue to under-report prescription. They are reporting less number of prescription than a doctor gives, so we need to correct that. And there are some lost prescribers. People have removed some prescribers. We need to find out and correct it. So there has to be a consistency in the customer master, and consistent customer masters gives us consistent results. Yes, this slide gives us sales performance view from two perspectives. One is on x-axis you have sales achievement, on y-axis you have lead score. So this gives us two perspectives, as I told you. Look at the numbers, the green color, 48% of the MRs have recorded high amount of lead score, and they achieved high amount of success. And 21% of the team members, their lead score though has been good, but their performance was not so good. And looking at the right hand side, 19% people have done good performance, but they need to improve upon their lead score. The area of concern is 12% of the team members whose lead score as well as achievement has been on lower side. It's time that they improved upon. As you know, to achieve sustainable result, one has to focus on the lead score, one has to focus on the right processes so that we achieve success. So this is one important aspect where we need to work upon in the coming year. And what you see on the right hand side bottom is country wise numbers. Each country has, we have seen that, you look at UAE, Morocco, Algeria, Oman, and Malaysia, and Sri Lanka also, we have majority of the team members doing good amount of efforts, lead score wise as well as achievement wise. So good going, others need to follow the process. Moving on, lead score, visit frequency and coverage. So this is country wise numbers YTD January. This shows the amount of efforts put in by the team members. I don't want to go to each country, but what I can tell you is that in green color what you see, those are positives, and the countries where we have yellow color need to improve upon. Yes, this one is basically the prescription data. We have two graphs seen on the screen. The first one is the prescriber base growth. You can see it is growing. And the second one is the prescription. You can see we have reached almost 5 lakh prescription, 5 lakh plus in the month of January. In quarter 4, it was close to 5 lakhs. So what is driving this prescription growth? The number one reason, and of course this is the major reason, that is customer conversion happening, consolidation happening. But one more reason we as Ciplites need to know, that is correction taking place in the process of prescription collection. People have been under-reporting some doctors' prescription, now it is getting corrected, so that also is contributing to the prescription growth. But in the coming days the system will be stronger and mature, it will show us better correlation with the secondary, so hope to see that soon. Now coming to a very important aspect of SFE, the coming year we will see a new motto. Of course, it's a consolidation, or what you say, the SFE function or Salesforce effectiveness function assuming a larger role. We are going to see lead score taking a new dimension. Lead will stand for learn, efforts, activity, and digital. Yes, this is going to encompass multiple functions: marketing, training, digital, and SFE. Together with your support, we are working on 4 things so as to enhance our own effectiveness inside the doctor chamber. The first lead stands for learn every day to enhance. You read the column motto from top to bottom. Learn every day to enhance, efforts to engage customers, earn incentive, and excel in activities to achieve digital excellence. How do we measure this? We would measure learning by learning score, efforts by SFE metrics, you know that, the lead score currently we are using, and activities by activity and campaign score, and finally digital by digital, DMR, e-detailing, HSS, and Cipla Netflix. Learning goal is continuous learning, and goal of efforts is customer engagement, and activities is marketing program implementation, and finally digital is optimum use of digital tools. We have multiple digital tools. We need to achieve optimum usage of digital tools, e-detailing tools, DMR tool, your Cipla, Medflix and HSS. We have been using it on varying degree of success. This year we need to focus on utilizing the digital score very effectively, because there is a catch. There is something very interesting coming up in the next slide. Incentive and rewards. Look at the screen. On the left hand side we have what incentive available in the current year: monthly incentive, quarterly incentive, focused products and half yearly bonanza. And above and beyond the existing plans, this year, the new year, you are going to get a substantial earning in terms of new incentive introduced on lead score. Lead score, as I mentioned to you earlier, as I told you earlier, lead score is basically learning score, effort score, activity score and digital score. So friends, there is a catch. It is for you. The objective of lead score introduction is that we focus on the processes. Very important. Process driven marketing approach will give you sustainable result. Moving on to the 4 pillars of success in the new year, looking at the doctor conversion part, where SFE would be working with you to operationalize the HML activity. HML is high, medium, low segmentation of doctors. You know that there are individuals, you need to understand this further. We need to further strengthen this process by looking at every customer as a potential, based on their potential, based on their high, medium, low potential, and looking at the prescription output based on that. Next is the customer expansion. Another aspect is, as we grow, as we have seen that we have substantial number of customers prescribing our products in every territory, it's time that we move on and acquire more customers, and in the process we expand our prescription base. So one goal of the new financial year would be to increase the customer base without increasing the call average required. Please remember that. So we need to manage within the available time, days, within available resources like digital resources, and of course most important resource is your physical efforts. We need to continue the expansion, penetration into the market and achieving the market share growth. Our next point is work on media mix optimization. This point is very important. As I told you earlier, we have been availing the digital resources, but with varying degree of success. So we need to make it a point to work on every digital resource, whether it is e-detailing, whether it is DMR, Cipla, Medflix or HSS. We must use these resources in every doctor call. Draw the attention of the doctor to each of these digital resources every time, so as to enhance our effectiveness and leave a good impression in the mind of the doctor when you come out of the doctor's chamber, finally to generate more prescription from more number of doctors. And last point, the new launches we are working on to enhance the dashboard, inside dashboard, which will give you instant access to sales and activity. This process is going on. And digital nudges is something which we are working on. You will surely be, there will be a pleasant surprise for you. You would get digital nudges every now and then whenever you fall short of any critical parameters during the month. It will act as a personal assistant for you. And campaign management with marketing would be an activity where we will have a more structured, systematic and system-driven campaign management, where we would monitor the list of doctors selected for the campaign, the way we have conducted the campaign, reporting of the campaign, and prescription generation done through the campaigns through RCPA. And finally, the campaign management would give you insights about your input versus output. That's it. So thank you so much. Work on learning, increasing your efforts, doing the customer engagement activities, using the digital resources, and thereby the motto is performance through prescription is going to be our motto for the new year. All the very best. Before we conclude, there is an important guest coming over. She is online, Ayong from Myanmar. I would like to understand from you, Ayong, that your philosophy, your process of following SFE metrics, SFE processes, and how has it been in the last 1 year?
Thank you, Mr. Saju. Thank you for introducing me. In this era, information is everything: to know, to learn, to think, and to understand. And in our pharma industry, SFE, Salesforce effectiveness, became the vital role to drive our eminent success. The right selection of customer segmentations, and monitoring the prescription trend, RCPA, and setting up the visit frequency count potential mapping Like grabbing impression through communication, like e-detailing, HSS, and Cipla Mavericks. Those are about the Cipla Digital Initiative and SFE Parameter Report always help our team to stay ahead of our competitors by knowing well where we are today. So last year, we have done the weekly meeting, SFE meeting, to check the DMR coverage, like visit frequency percentage, and also how to fill up the A-class mixed outer recovery. And this year, on like Q2 onwards, our team have decided to extend focus on the RCPA mapping, and then to know well about our KOL prescription behaviors, and also the KOL prescription potential, and also their brand royalty. Moreover, we have discussed about our focus brand exposure achievement with a focus brand exposure report, and also with the POB status. For future, we are expecting to be received from SFE team is the RCPA dashboard, prescriber-wise, and also with the brand-wise. Also, the brand exposure report weekly update, because we believe that those are very important to be corrected on time and to raise our team performance up. Thank you, Saju.
Thank you very much, Ao. Please don't go away. There is a question for you. There's a poll question for you. We spoke about lead. Yes, so we have been talking about lead score in the last few years, but this year lead is going to assume a larger role. So you need to tell us what does lead stands for. You need to give full form of LEAD. Your answer, your options are there on the screen. So please read the options and identify the right answer and give reply. All right. All right, so you got the answer, I believe. Thank you so much. Wish you all the very best for the new financial year. Have an electrifying start. All the best. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
That was great. Thank you, Mr. Saju, for helping us giving the direction on SFE parameters.
Moving on, we have the country managers from the different parts of the world with us today, and let's hear from each one of them on what is the overall plan that they have for their countries for FY24.
We have Mr. Ian, who heads our UK team. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Ian.
I would like to start by congratulating everyone involved in the outstanding performance of the UK company in FY23. The sales effort has been tremendous, but this cannot happen without the support from production, supply chain, BD&L, regulatory, and all of the other functions that help us to put medicines in the hands of patients. Our growth in the last year has largely been driven by the generics portfolio, and most of this growth has come organically from older, established products. New additions to this group are coming from both in-house and in licensing, and these will help fuel growth further in the coming year. In the last couple of months, we have recruited a team of account managers who are responsible for driving the sales of our branded respiratory portfolio. In the near future, we will launch the Seroflow Sitpaler, Bibecfo, which is the beclomethasone formoterol combination, and tiotropium. The successful launch of these brands is vital to secure the growth needed next year. Our targets for FY24 are challenging, but the whole team is committed to smashing through these. I can tell you that everyone in the UK is determined to go above and beyond.
That was great. Moving on, we have Mr. Javier who leads the Spain team. Can we hear it for Mr. Javier?
Hello, hola from Spain. I am the new country manager of Cipla Spain. I have the privilege to serve a great team, which is working hard to perform above and beyond. In despite of the different headwinds that we have been facing in Spain during the last months, we have been continuously opening new customers with hospital products. We have successfully launched Bexarotene, and we are just now launching Abiraterone. Likewise with our respiratory products, introducing them in an important number of hospitals and gaining new customers to accelerate respiratory growth. Altogether, we have been achieving record sales every single month. And during the last quarter, we have reached the record sales of 2 million euros. This is exactly what I mean when I refer to performing above and beyond. And this is why I want to stop here, because I want to recognize and congratulate each and every one of the members of the Spanish team. Thank you. Of course, I cannot forget to say thank you as well to all the Cipla team that is providing support from UK and from India every day. We could never, ever got it without all of you. Thank you very much. Great job. Well done. Well, now we have a new year ahead of us, and the best is yet to come in Spain. We have reorganized the Spanish team. We have added new members and integrated several reps in Cipla from outsourcing. Without any doubts, this is creating a great sense of belonging and engagement. We are building a winning team. Our team is completed and confident. Our products are available and new launches are coming. So we are ready. It is the time to multiply exponentially the number of patients that are getting the benefit from Cipla medicines. The time to enhance our caring for life. The time to accelerate our growth in Spain. Without any doubt, together we are stronger, and we are going to bring Cipla Spain above and beyond. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best success for next year. Good luck.
Thank you so much to all the country leaders for their wonderful insights.
You know what, Pawan? No function is complete without a strong backbone. And for us, we have a strongest support from Dr. Vaibhav and Aniruddha from the medical team, who helps us day in and day out with their insights and anything that we need.
Absolutely. So can we all hear for Dr. V and Anirudh from the medical team?
Hello team, hope you are doing well. First of all, many congratulations for the best ever quarterly secondary performance. I am sure the journey will continue even in future. A good brief is given by the marketing team where we'll partner and try to achieve even larger goals in the times to come. On top of that, we have some additional offerings for you. And for that, I have Aniruddha with me. Annie, what you want to say to our country team?
Thank you, sir.
Stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to showcase our plan for financial year 2023-2024. I like to highlight 8 core segments from our side. So, ad board is one such important segment. The role of an advisory board is not to make a decision, but rather to provide current knowledge, critical thinking, and analysis to increase the confidence of the decision makers who represent. I think every country should plan at least one ad board this year, if not 2. A good workshop by best experts provide an opportunity for hands-on training and practical application to the participants. It opens a gateway for the interested clinicians who want to upgrade their skills. Bronchoscopy, thoracoscopy, diagnostic tools, and polysomnography. These are some of the important ones which can be planned. You know, India is a key country with experts from different fields of respiratory. So under the Learn from the Experts program, interested young clinicians can plan their one-to-one training or fellowship program in handling advanced diagnostic tools, radiology, and invasive as well as non-invasive procedures from these experts. Now, you all know WeRise has been a very key global conference in respiratory, and as a part of Cipla's partnership and practice approach, we can plan best of WeRise program. Both centrally and locally can be planned and work with the best of the best speakers of WeRise 2023. Now, there is always a room for the upgradation of knowledge among clinicians, like physicians, GPs, ENTs, pediatricians. You have opportunity to upgrade them through in-house built medical education modules for training on asthma, COPD, pediatric asthma, and allergic rhinitis. These modules have usually 3 to 4 hours of training time. Engaging the regional societies will give you an added value for these modules. Global Respiratory Connect is always widely accepted among participants because of its richness in quality, best speakers, and on-time sharing of knowledge for the latest happenings in the field of respiratory. We will continue to do that. Most of the countries are already a part of the local data generation process through our observational surveys, and I am sure that this has given all of us immense pride when it gets presented on the global platform like ERS, APSR, IPCRG, and etc. This process will continue. And I am happy to inform you that our introspect survey has recently been published in the Journal of Asthma. Now, additionally, you can also support the investigator-initiated surveys for certain interesting KOLs. So I'll end up my briefing with the most important core segment, that is support to key opinion leaders. Now we'll be engaging certain key opinion leaders and seeking the support of their expertise in terms of ad board, like principal investigator, the speakers for our global programs, content reviews, content generation for Cipla Netflix, and etc. So this was from my side, sir.
Good one, Anirudh. And team, I hope these core segments will now definitely give you all an idea to explore newer opportunities. And we both wish you all the very best for 2023 and 24. And we'll work together to achieve the larger milestones. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vaibhav and Anirudh, for giving us a clear understanding on the big plans for FY24. So, Shruti, there is a quote which I really liked. Those who look behind will never see beyond, by Sherry White.
Absolutely, and that is why our theme for the next year is above and beyond. So without further delay, let's call our next speaker, Ms. Priyanka Khandelwal from the HR team.
Hi team, good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the different 3 regions that we are distributed. Hope all of you are doing well and everybody at home is holding well in terms of health and overall fitness is concerned. This year feels like a long one because purely I think the different kind of challenges across countries we've seen, the kind of whole pre-COVID versus now we are trying to work, and the whole virtual connect that you and I keep working on. But overall a good year, I think, in terms of, as they famously say, the best place to work. So Morocco gets into that kitty for the very first time. So here's to cheers to the whole Morocco team. Thank you so much for believing in us and rating us for the best place to work. And we are not just going to stop at Morocco. We would come to bigger key markets again so that overall DTM becomes a great place to work. We did some very, very interesting work around the whole career development, be it the section of women, where we've launched and pioneered the Women Manager Program in Sri Lanka. The amazing news is some of our trainees are almost 90% ready to be absorbed into full-time Cipla payroll. So that's going to be an amazing intervention and outcome there. The second one, where we worked on the whole CDP program, a huge therapy head and FLM development program to ensure that we build capabilities for the future and we ensure that we have the right set of talent needed to boost the kind of growth we are looking at in markets. A lot of work that went into our favorite subject, Comp and Ben. I keep hearing it from all of you across the country, but I'm sure together we've been able to deliver the milestones that we agreed, be it giving the inflation allowances, respecting the country concerns in Sri Lanka, Morocco, Myanmar, or really going back and revising the fixed allowances for people and countries where it was not done for the longest time. So I'm glad that together as a team we could achieve that. Now, as they say, good work is rewarded with extra more new work. So here we are already pulling our socks for the next year and what is it that we want to establish. One of the biggest thing I think which we might have missed out in the last year is celebrating our successes, is rewarding our talent when it comes to doing the great work that all of you do. So it is a personal commitment that this year is all going to be about R&R. It is going to be about more of the team coming together, celebrating all the hits that we crack, and if at all there is a miss, we still come together and we bond as a team so that we only get better and thicker and deliver our agenda. I still hold the Comp and Ben strategy very, very close to me. So whatever we can do in terms of places where we are not paying enough, or if our people are not happy, I hear a lot of that input coming from, say, Malaysia, Algeria, Myanmar. Trust me, these markets are going to be my key priority this year. And between Anand and I, we would ensure that we turn all stones to make things work for us. But none of this, guys, is going to be possible without all of you. Please keep the faith in us. Please keep the communication going. I love hearing from all of you in terms of what is it we can do better. I have some very interesting talent across countries who reach out to me, give me so much of genuine ground reality feedback. So please continue to be my ears on the ground. And hopefully this year, I get to travel and I get to meet all of you in person so that we crack the whole idea of this team coming together. Thank you so much. Keep your faith in us. Keep good focus on your own health and your well-being. Sleep well at night and keep super energized on a Monday morning. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Priyanka, for that enriching session and giving us a clear idea of what HR would be focusing in financial year 24.
So Pawan, let's move on to our next segment. This segment is from Dipali from the finance team, and she is going to talk on the overview of finance discipline and perspectives on the secondaries. So let's welcome Dipali from finance.
Hi everybody, very happy to inform all of you that we are ahead of our profit targets in FY23 by almost 100 basis points. So that means 1% ahead of the budget that we have had. And we have achieved this profit target despite all the volatilities that we have seen in different markets. On the primary side, we have been little bit short of budget at 91%. But having said that, secondaries we have done very well. We have in fact had record high secondaries this year, and we have clocked a growth of around 38%. And if we remove the Sri Lanka price increase from here, then we have had growth of around 20 to 22%, which is still very, very high. I have said this before as well, that primaries are just a reporting number. What shows the hygiene of our business is the secondaries that we are doing, and I'm very, very happy to inform you that we have done very well in our secondaries across all the markets. Few markets have seen challenges here and there because of demand, because of supply issues, but most of our markets have performed as per the targets given to them month on month and quarter on quarter. A couple of things that have helped us achieve the profit targets for this year. One very important thing was Sri Lanka price increase. This was to the tune of around $2.3 million, and Oman price increase. So Oman for us is a regulated market, and by virtue of regulated market, we are not allowed to take price increase whenever we want, right? So what we had done here is we had identified couple of products where we went and appealed to the MOH with a very solid case around how competitors are priced over us and how our costs are increasing, and MOH was kind enough to actually give us that approval. So this has contributed to around $0.2 million this year and will contribute around $0.4 million next year. Another important factor for us to achieve profits this year was recovery of old dues. So there were a couple of customers who owed us money, and we had actually gone back to them and we have recovered around $1.6 million from these customers, for which the recovery we had written off. So that has, both of these factors have contributed significantly to our profit delivery of this year. Apart from this, I am very happy to report that our controller scorecard has been at an all-time high, which is at 8+. So just for information, what is controller scorecard? This is basically the reflection of how finance team is closing the books. And when we talk about closing the books, it is not just timely closure, it is first time accurate. So that means you have to close the books on time and you have to close them accurately. So on this front, the entire finance team has worked with you day and night, over weekends, over holidays, to make sure that we meet our timelines and we close our books with accuracy, right? So we have received a scorecard of around 8+, which is one of the highest in international markets. Very happy to report that also. Other things that we have done very quickly, I will talk about. We have had zero important findings, or let's say risk findings, when it comes to audit. We have transformed the accounting structure in Brazil and Sri Lanka, which was facing so much of liquidity issues. We have ensured that in FY23 there is no billing that is done at risk. So these were a couple of highlights from finance side that we thought are important for you to know. Again, I would like to congratulate and thank each and every one of you for delivering such a solid FY23. So with very, very impactful delivery in FY23, we have to speak about FY24 budgets as well. So as we speak, we have closed FY24 budgets, end-to-end P&L, top-line budget SKU-wise. The theme for FY24 is growth with governance. What it means is basically that we have to continue delivering double-digit growth when it comes to our primary, when it comes to our secondary, and when it comes to our profit. So the ask from organization is for EM/DTM team to deliver the same profits as of last year, that is 56%. But right now, as we speak, we are seeing a challenge in achieving this number. We are seeing a gap of around $2 million, and that is primarily because of a lot of our products facing price drops because of increased competition. We all know that FX is continuing to erode, so that is also putting additional pressure on the margins because we are not getting relevant price increases in the market, right? Apart from this, couple of things that I wanted to bring your attention to, which we couldn't do so well in FY23, so that becomes the focus in FY24, is basically collection of dues from our regular customers. We have to ensure that month on month we collect all the money that is owed from these customers so that we can reinvest this money back into the business, right? Second very important thing is that we have to bring in some process efficiencies. We have to spend less and less time in chasing with the partners and following up, and we have to spend more time in solving the issues and to deliver the growth that is expected from the business. Third important thing is how do we increase our forecasting accuracy. So that means the inventory that we produce for ourselves gets consumed on time and it is not wasted at all. And last important thing is we want each and every one of you to follow is the DOAs and the SOPs that we have put in place, right? Internal financial controls have to be met at all points of time. And I just want to say that compliance is each and everyone's responsibility, and we have to focus on that, right? Growth should not come at an expense of compliance, and that's what the theme of FY24 is. So with that, I will leave you and I will give you a lot of wishes for FY24. Together we can achieve this as a team, and together let us rise above and beyond in FY24. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dipali, for all the insights on finance discipline. I'm sure we all will spend each penny in a compliant way.
Talking about compliance, Pawan, our next leader is the most compliant, and the best part is he gives us all the freedom and liberty to do any kind of activities, but in a compliant way.
And not just that, he empowers each of his team member to adhere by rules and regulation with a very clear vision in mind.
And not to forget, he recently got promoted.
Oh yes, we are talking about none other than our very own Mr. Punendu Seth. Can we all hear from Mr. Punendu?
Thank you, Pawan and Shruti, for such a nice introduction. Hello, everyone. First of all, let me congratulate all of you for delivering such an amazing performance in this financial year. What a performance. We tried our level best to find areas of improvement, and believe me, it was very difficult to find one or two. You guys have put your heart and soul and delivered such a great performance, and I would like to express my gratitude for such a wonderful effort. Next year, we will also rise above and beyond by solving few problems and executing few growth drivers, and we will do it in the most compliant way. This is going to be the last slide of WeRise meeting, and this is the slide which, if you follow, I am sure we will again rise above and beyond in the next financial year. Here I have listed down 3 growth drivers where we need to work on, and also we have identified 2 problem areas what we need to solve. The first growth driver what we have identified is prescriber. What we want all of you is to increase your prescriber base. To do that, you have to increase your customer coverage. What does that mean? Today, if your MSL is of 140, you need to increase it by 10 more number of doctors and take it to 150. Not very difficult, right? The second important growth driver is prescription. And how do you generate additional prescription? By engaging additional number of doctors through various activities like CME, ad board, conference, patient detection camp, you know many. So what do I mean by increasing the engagement by 10%? So last financial year, if you have engaged 100 doctors in different activities, this year you need to engage 110 doctors. Not a very big ask, but you have to do it very diligently. The third growth driver what we have identified is conversion. Faster you do the conversion, faster is the growth of your business. This year we have launched 4 new score which we call lead score, which is about your learning score, your effort score in the clinic, your activity or the engagement of the doctor score, and digital score. And we know if you can score 100 out of 100 in all these scores, you will do a faster conversion. Now let us talk about some problem areas, and we have some good problems. In most of the market where we operate, we have a very high market share. So what we need to do is to expand the market. So in next financial year, we want all of you to drive patient generation, and we have put a number against that drive. Each one of you has to drive at least 15 patient generation every month. The second problem area is lower brand recall. If the doctor don't see your brand, if you don't spend much of time in the doctor's clinic, the doctor doesn't recall your brand. We have seen our iPad is being exposed only 2 out of 10 calls. So next year, we want to take it to minimum 50%. So if you are making 10 calls, it would be ideal to open your iPad in all the 10 calls, but minimum you need to open it in the 5 calls. And in each call, you make sure whether the doctor is busy or you are busy or there are line of medical representative behind you, but you at least spend 2 minutes in the doctor's clinic. So isn't it very simple that we can again rise next year above and beyond by executing 3 growth drivers and solving 2 problem areas? I'm sure if we can do this, the next year will be another amazing year, and I have full confidence in all of you because you have implemented almost all the strategy whatever we have thought about, and I'm sure next year will not be an exception. We'll get your full support and all of these strategies will get executed. So wish you all the very best, and I'm sure together we will have amazing next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Punendu. This has given us a very clear understanding on solving problems and executing the growth drivers, but in a compliant way.
And not to forget, all the cross-function teams and the country managers out there who are playing an equal and important role in everyone's success.
So Shruti, do you know what is our next segment?
Well, Pawan, honestly, I think I have forgotten the flow again. And I also know that I don't have to fear when you are here.
Yes, absolutely. We are just left with our last piece and the last segment, and that is thanking each one of you who have joined us today.
Of course, that could not have been possible without the contribution from each one of us. And on that note, we would request your valuable feedback. The feedback window will pop up on your screen at the end of the show.
It was great pleasure hosting this event and connecting with each one of you.
Absolutely. And we look forward to see you soon.
Till then, namaste from India. मैंने इसको कॉल किया, मैंने वो क्लैप्स करके बाहर निकलेंगे, हमें उस साइड से निकलना है, इस साइड से निकलना है.
Wow, look at the number of emojis.
अरे नहीं, अच्छा लगा. Ready? Yes. Thank you, Priyanka. ये तो definitely होना चाहिए जो बोला.
30% business is contributed from.
ये बोल लगेगा वो
ऐसे लगेगी.
एडवर्ड लगेगी.
वो कैमरा के साथ है. आ जाना बस फिर मैं यहाँ से इधर हो जाऊँगा. यहाँ पे अंदर चलेगा.
इंट्रोडक्शन जो रहेगा पैनल का, पैनलिस्ट
मैं ये कर रही हूँ, वी ट्रांसफर पे स्लाइड चलेगा.
नहीं लेफ्ट साइड
Show that excitement on your face.
You have to change it.
कलर में चीजें.
Where I concluded, and I would say that so I can relate.
फाइनल है ना. लास्ट के टाइम 100 है. चलो चलो.